wear them on your head.
Yeah.
I love the commitment to this. This is great. Yeah, just like that. That's great. That's great. Here, I'm going to putting mine on. This is what I usually do anyway. Hello, we are live. I probably should have let my main page. Hello, welcome. Welcome. What's the name of the show again? The show is called
Real Peaks.
Real Peaks. That's right. That was Nate's name for the show. I like it a lot. So we're going with Real Peaks. I had no idea what to call the show. So that's the name of the show. It's Real Peaks. Welcome to Real Peaks. This is Bluray show and tell, but it doesn't have to be Bluray. It could be other things too. It doesn't have to be Bluray.
Good.
So that's what we're doing here tonight. We are doing Bluray show and tell, and so let me just explain real quick what the genesis was. We had, So that was Steve. Steve just messaged me. So what happened was we had this thing on New Year's Eve. It was Nate's thing. Nate did a genre blast Zoom hangout on New Year's Eve, and it was really freaking awesome, man. Like we were all just hanging out, and then there was like a lull. There was some downtime, and one thing led to another. And before you know it, we were talking about Blu-rays, just talking about them. You know what I mean? Like just the discs and our relationship to the discs, how it relates to the movie, yada, 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 that sort of thing. And everybody was having such a good time. And I was like, let's do this again, except we'll do it live on the internet, and just sort of share our love for, movies and films and discs and things. So a couple of things that we need to figure out here right now. We don't have to agree to it democratically. We'll feel it out. Number one, nobody knows what everybody's pick is, right? So there's a chance that two people have the same pick. Brian,
not mine,
except for yours. Brian had the great idea. He said, just in case I get scooped, that he had a backup pick. So I ran and I got a backup pick for my pick, which is actually my main pick. But I changed it at the last one because I was so scared that somebody else would pick this film that I wanted to be the first one to do. So I was like, I'm thinking that. So that's what it is. And basically, look, we're all filmmakers. We're all lovers of the cinema. To use such a $20 word for a movie. And we love talking about movies, and we talk endlessly about them. That's one of the best things about going to festivals where we've all met. We've all met at various different festivals over the years. And one of the best parts is that we talk about what we've seen. We talk about what we love. We talk about what we might not like. It's like this wonderful little community. I was like, can we take this on to news? Let's follow those things with what we did in Zoom. Let's take it into the online space and sort of do it in a podcast. I mean, that's why I don't know about you guys, but with Shockwaves. Shockwaves was so great because those dudes would just talk about what they'd seen. I'd be like, I haven't seen that. That's fun. So, I think it would be an extension of that. So, welcome to all my guests here. Why don't we go around the room and just quickly introduce ourselves? I'm Jeff, and whoever wants to go next. Say hello.
I'm Rick Heffett. Hey. Is that all we're saying? We're just
I don't know. Just say hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, that was easy.
Hello.
Brian.
Okay.
Jeff, your audio is going in and out. I don't know if it's the headphones. But
My audio is going in and out because I have these really crappy headphones. That might be why. What about now? How am I now?
Better.
Now it's fine, yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm not touching the wire. All right. In any case, so this is how this is going to work. We're each going to take turns. The whole point of the show and tell is to show and tell. You pick something from your collection, and you talk about your connection to it, your collection, and talk about the connection to the collection. And you talk about maybe where you got it, blah blah blah, any sort of thing. There's no defining thing, and we'll just take it from there. And if my audio cuts out again, let me know. I will start us off, okay? So for my pick,
We're all waiting in
know.
anticipation for what this is going to be.
Like, if it's the same as mine, it'll be really weird.
Nobody else did Caligula, right? I'm the only
Right,
one.
yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
Dawn of the Dead.
I went with the Dawn of the Dead box set. This release is very special to me. It came out September 2004. I was standing, first one online. I don't remember the date, but I remember it was September 2004. And I was standing online waiting to go and, purchase it. It was $50, which I was like, oh my God, it was just a lot for a box set. And, that's where the extended mall cut was. I was looking for that. Damn. I knew I had it somewhere. I was ripping my collection apart. It was a great box set, man. It was the first time in America where you can get all the versions of the film except for the extended mall cut edition. It came with a comic book adaptation of Dawn of the Dead, at least the first part of Dawn of the Dead. It was like this mini comic book. And it's funny. This set was almost like upgrade proof. Like, it's funny. They had Blu-ray versions of Dawn of the Dead that came out after this set, and I never purchased. I didn't make another purchase of Dawn of the Dead for 16 years. I saw no need to do so because this set was so powerful to me. I was like, I just want to watch the Cannes cut. I want to watch the Argento cut. I want to watch the theatrical cut. I couldn't do that with all of the Blu-rays that had come out, all the Blu-ray editions that had come out. And then, okay, so mine's a little extended, and I'm doing it because, whatever. I'm doing it because I'm the host. So this is, this knocked out this one right here. This was the first version on VHS, the US theatrical cut. I got this at the mall, and I must have watched this tape 100,000 times. So when this came out, I was just like, uh-oh. When this came out, it was just like such a big upgrade for me. It felt like my whole world opened up. And then the final part of my show and tell. This is the single most expensive purchase I've ever made for any single DVD movie, not box set, movie. I have never spent this much money, and I did so right before I lost my job. This is the last time I will ever buy Dawn of the Dead. Right here, baby. Look how thick that is. And when I spell thick, it's THICC thick. Not like thick, but like thick. You know what I mean? Look at that bad boy. You pop that sucker open, and it's got the novelization. So now I got the comic book and the novelization. It's got 164 hardcover book with like essays. Look at that. That's sheet music. What the hell is sheet music doing in this thing, man? Like George Romero's dystopias. I haven't read this yet, actually. I've watched all the features. I've not read the literature. And then to top it all off, we get the 4K remasters of all the movies I just mentioned, right? So this literally is probably the greatest Blu-ray set to ever be released in the history of Blu-ray sets. Maybe not. Because what other Blu-ray set comes with the library cue music? That's how iconic this film is. The library cue music that like is burned into your brain from watching Dawn of the Dead so many times. They had to include that. And then lastly, of course, this original soundtrack by Goblin. Now, one final note I want to say about this. Well, first of all, as I said, the bonus features are phenomenal. I would say the only downside to this set is that you have a few feature-length documentaries, and like many sets, I'm sure you will all agree with me that this has been your experience at one time or another, where information becomes redundant. Because what happens, and this is what I've noticed in general with documentaries and people that do interviews, like musicians that get interviewed over and over again. I'm a fanatical Danzig fan, right? So I've read and listened to every Danzig interview there is. Or the same thing with Jerry Only, yada, yada, yada. And those guys from that band say the same manicured answers over and over and over again. Nothing ever changes, to the point where I don't want to hear from those guys. I want to hear from the little guys. In the same way that I love George, I love, Tom Savini, I love, all the big players with Dawn of the Dead, but I want to hear from the Elevator Zombie. I want to hear from like the Hare Krishna Zombie, because they're going to have something they're going to bring something interesting to the table that maybe was not said 100,000 times. Probably the biggest standout feature. And, again, this set is the only thing that could ever knock out this set, which is on DVD. And that's what trumps it. That's what makes it completely, obsolete is the word. But, again, I'm never going to get rid of these because they mean so much to me. The best part of this by far is this little featurette, which is you have these two brothers who were extras on Dawn of the Dead. They shot 8mm footage just as fans. The kid had guy had a camera, brought it down to set, and just casually shooting all sorts of stuff, not knowing how historical or how iconic this film would become. And on the set, they present the remastered 8mm footage with commentary from the people who shot it. So they're walking you through what you're seeing, which is silent 8mm footage, all sorts of little tidbits, including a special effects gag that never made it to the final movie. So you're seeing unseen scenes that happen in the movie. And you're watching Tom Savini set them up. It really is an expansive, probably definitive, the punctuative period at the end of Dawn of the Dead for me. And I guess that's all I have to say about that for now. So that's my show and tell. We'll all go around and then we'll open it up. But because Rakafet's time is limited, I'm gonna have her go. I'm gonna have her go now. Right now, I'm gonna have her go right now.
Panic on your face.
What are you talking? I don't know what you know. What I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. How dare these accusations? I will not stand for them. Please present us with your movie.
All right. We're not allowed to say what we didn't pick, so I'm not going to tell you all the things that I didn't pick. But I didn't. I'm just saying I'm not allowed to. Okay. Anyway, I'm pretty sure nobody picked this one, but it's probably like top 5 favorite movie, and it is Reality Bites on DVD because I don't have a Blu-ray player yet. But I will, because now it's like a thing and I have to get one. But Reality Bites, I was in love with my best friend when this came out. So it was very special to me. I dragged him to the movie theater to watch this movie with me after I had already seen it, because I knew what it was about, trying to give him a little hint, and he did not take the hint. Or he took the hint and he didn't want the hint. Either way, he's still one of my best friends. This is like the 90s in a box to me. It's like the songs. I love the soundtrack. I love Lisa Loeb. Ben Stiller directed it. Winona Ryder was not crazy yet. Ethan Hawke was hot. He's still hot. Nothing's changed. But I loved it so much that 10 years later, I bought the 10th anniversary DVD, which has never been opened. As you can see, I really needed to have it. It was desperate. I don't know why. And so this ended up being the one I picked because I actually have 2 copies of it. And one that I've never even opened that was $4.99, probably at a 7-Eleven, I'm guessing. And I'm very sad to see my favorite movie for $4.99. But anyway, whenever you see like the best movies in like the bargain box, you just feel like so disrespectful, like don't do that to Winona. But this one has special features on it, which now I'm interested in because I didn't realize it had special features. And then the other thing I didn't, whatever, I'm telling you anyway, because I have 10 copies of Titanic and I honestly don't know where they all are. But it was like the kind of movie I loved it so much that every single time I saw it somewhere, I bought it. And I'm like, I have it. I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it. It's in my closet, or it's in this box, or it's here. And I'm like, I don't know, just in case, I'm just going to get it. And I swear to you, there's a box somewhere that has at least 10 unopened Titanic DVDs. I don't even think I watched any of them. I just wanted to have it. I needed to have it. I just needed to have it. And yeah, and I don't know, Reality Bites is still probably one of the best movies ever. And I was pretty sure nobody here was going to pick that. And yeah, comedy about love in the 90s. I don't know. It's good stuff. And the soundtrack is awesome. Also, I don't know what else to say, but it's great.
The soundtrack is good in every movie from the 90s.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. The 90s probably had some of the best music since the 60s, I would say. I don't know about the 70s and 80s so much. There's some things in there, I guess. But
The
yeah,
90s are special.
the 90s are special. And you know, even when we were like in the 90s, I don't really remember feeling like, oh, how are we going to remember the 90s? Because I was like, it didn't have its own thing like the 80s did or the 70s did. But I think you get far enough away from it, and it totally does. Because like every single thing in Reality Bites is like so 90s. Like his vintage, like I used to go thrifting. Like I think I had a shirt that looked just like this. Like, you know, thrift shops where you didn't buy anything new in the 90s. Everything was grungy and gross and big boots. I don't know. I love the 90s. The 90s are the best.
Dude, that was awesome.
Thanks. And Steven's here.
Hey,
Yeah,
sorry.
hey, Steven.
I have to make an entrance. I can't just be a normal fucking person like everybody else.
No,
and
I
give
like
them
it.
Time.
I like
My
it.
apologies. I swear, I thought it was 9:30. I was like, oh, I got time. I can eat my little Haagen-Dazs bar and enjoy a. Hey, hell yeah, that's a sweet thing,
Oh,
bro.
that's nice.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to say
No,
one quick thing
Not
before
in
we
your
move on.
show. No, definitely not.
Wait, please, Steven, can I just say one thing, please?
Yes, I permit it.
Okay. I just want to say this. I honestly, I was going to write this in like some like film festival groups, but I figure since Steven's here right now, do you know what my favorite part about the 72-hour drama was? It's that I have this, like, this is such a great keepsake. Like, I feel like a general, and like, you know, having like the medals on my like accomplishment. I think the enamel pin needs to find its way in festival culture more than it does for the festival brand. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But doesn't
I
it
know
already?
Nightmare-
I feel like a
Nightmare's
lot
like
of
that.
festivals have the enamel. I see people like covered, like Jason has like 4,000 of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Nightmares does a pretty good job. You know what it is? It's just the
Oh, they
idea
do
that
those
this was,
limited editions.
yeah, but this
We
was
put them out in New York.
like this was a 72-hour debacle. So to me, it's like a campaign
Sure.
that you know what I mean? It's like again, I don't want to. I really don't want to take away from the valor that real people fight in the army and whatnot. I just mean like in the sense of like
Stop making
know-
fun of the military, Jeff.
I'm a
filmmaking is a
fan.
war. If filmmaking is a war, that's all I'm saying. God damn it!
The same as going to Nam. It's the same thing.
Exactly the same. No difference.
Listen,
at all.
I watched
No
The
hyperbole
Office,
there.
and making a film is just like Gettysburg. I think is the
Oh my God.
the message.
All right. Let's have some. All right, Law and Order. Let's move on. Who's
Well,
the
I wanna
next?
quickly say, before Cuffit leaves,
Please.
I saw an anniversary screening of Reality Bites at Tribeca, not last year, but I guess it was the year before. And it was a whole panel. Ben Stiller, Winona, Janine, they're all
Oh
there.
my God.
They all gave props. They all gave props to Winona for being the catalyst for the movie getting made, because she was Winona Ryder at the time. And it was
Well,
like
she was
movie
the
couldn't
only
have-
real big star, I think.
Right.
I mean,
They gave her such props, and like everybody had to clap for her. Whatever her troubles were afterwards, it was like we had to give respect.
stealing shit. And
She could, yeah, I know. But it was like the fact that she could actually open a film based on her name and her credits and all that. So that's what really got it made. It was her involvement.
especially at that time. That's cool.
Yeah. She could open
So-
a film.
So I know I'm a complete asshole. I showed up late, but was the movie on deck just now Reality Bites? Because I have so
It
many.
was.
Oh, damn it! I have feels about that movie. Like
I have so many.
I'm sure I missed.
Well, listen, hold on a second. Should we? Because here's the thing. What I was thinking is everybody should go around and do their show and tell, and then we'll talk
like a
about the
round
movies.
table.
So let's avoid the crosstalk for now and keep going around.
Like AA, I got it. No crosstalk. Crosstalk. I don't know anything about that. It's anonymous.
That's right. Exactly. It's anonymous. It's anonymous. The first rule
Yes.
of anonymous is we don't talk about it.
Just be
Okay.
anonymous. Yes.
Got to be
Okay.
anonymous. No, that was funny. Okay. So who would like to go next? Whoever wants to may do so. Whoever wants to take the dive, and then, like what I said, we'll open it up and we'll do some crosstalk and yada yada yada. So whoever wants to go next.
I'll jump in.
Okay, go take it away.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, baby. You know what? Not enough grease.
Not enough grease.
It needs more
I
grease.
need it to be greasy. I need it to lubricate the world. Okay, so I just watched it again the other night because holy shit, how could you not?
Oh,
So
man.
this is a greasy down under two disc deluxe edition Blu-ray of the Greasy Strangler that was released by Monster Releasing in Australia. I have so two things. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the Greasy Stranger, that's like one of those Urban Dictionary masturbation moves, the Greasy Stranger.
Oh my god.
Greasy
That is
Someone else
freaking
does it,
wrong.
not when
I
you
feel like I
and
don't want to
it's
Google
someone
that.
else.
It would not be an exaggeration to say that the Greasy Strangler changed my life. I saw this at a midnight show at a festival here in Orlando, and I said, okay, I have purpose in life. I'm now going to run a festival for movies like this, and that's when I Second Wrong started. So,
Real? Oh, so it was inspired. So it was inspired by that.
yeah. Well, it's kind of a two-part thing. I don't want to waste everybody's time, but this was an instrumental movie in the inception of Sick and Wrong. So I was watching for a release, and I think there was a US DVD release that was kind of plain vanilla, not interesting packaging, not a lot of features or anything like that. And then I saw that there was this company in Australia that had their special 2-disc edition, and it was a Blu-ray, and it says 2-disc, so obviously it must be special. And I looked, and it said that it had, and I can't find, since then, I haven't been able to find any evidence of this, so I must have fabricated the whole thing. But I swear that that this version of the movie said it was going to be like 28 seconds longer or something than the one I'd seen in theaters. I don't know if that's true. What I did know was that there was no US Blu-ray and no US disc with any kind of features on it at all. So I created an account on this Australian company's website and paid 3 times as much as you should pay for a Blu-ray to order this thing from Australia. And then it got here, and then like a month later, boom, the US Blu-ray came out with like tons of features and everything.
Aww.
So it's okay because I have a lot of affection for this thing. First of all, I like the aesthetic on the cover here, that kind of monochrome pink thing. And then on the back, you got some you got Oinker and Janet back there. The features are cool. There's a ton of interviews, like a whole bunch of interviews about like themed interviews, not interviews about like working on the sets because the sets were pretty disgusting, and then like working with the director and the interviews are cool. But there's also a feature that I tried to rewatch tonight, and for some reason my Blu-ray player's conking out, so I don't remember what the foods were exactly. But there's an interview with Sky Elabar, who played Braden, and Elizabeth Durazo, who played Janet, trying Australian foods. Just like eating weird Australian foods like Vegemite and things like that, and that's a good feature. But one of the things I really like about this, it's so fucking gorgeous. You got this cover, which I love, and it wraps around. Yeah, I don't have a great camera here, but
Yummy.
if you decide that you want to switch things up and switch to the what's the rating here on our presentation?
Unrated.
Unrated. You could invert the cover and get this beautiful centerfold.
Oh
my God.
my.
To quote SNL, to quote the Antonio Banderas SNL sketch, too sexy. It's too sexy. It's too sexy.
I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I don't know what that is. That looks like a guy I dated.
Oh my lord.
So I do not. Years later, I do not regret ordering an overexpensive Blu-ray from Australia. I'm thrilled to have this. Like, it's gorgeous, and I mean, I love this fucking movie. I just watched it again the other night. It still holds up, you know, in case anybody was curious. And if I have so much to say, oh my God, I'm gonna fuck it all up getting it back inside. I have so much to say about the movie itself, but this is a one of the most gorgeous like Blu-ray packagings I think I've ever seen. And it's always fun to watch people try to eat Australian food. Yes. Yeah. I can't. All right, I'm a dumbass here. You're like, go to camera 2 because I can't figure out how to get this back.
Okay, I will keep talking. That was a great
camera 1, camera 2, kind of a
camera
thing.
1, camera 2. We can't see past my sunglasses. I gotta say, I'm super jealous of your pick, and I have a lot to say about the Greasy Strangler, but I'll save it for the crosstalk section. Let's move on. We have 3 more picks to go, people. I see Bob Rose is in the audience, and he should definitely come on a future episode. I'd love to hear Bob Rose's pick from his collection.
Bob Rose, by the way, makes fun of me every time I mention I'm going to watch a DVD. He says that his eyes literally can no longer watch 480p resolution video.
There's so much to say about that comment, but let's table it because there's a lot to say. I have a lot to say about that. But okay, moving on. Who would like to go next? Please step forward.
Like show and tell. I love this.
Show and tell.
Should I go ahead or?
Please, the floor is yours.
Well, you know, this one holds a special place. It sort of affected me very early on in the 80s when I first saw some clips of it, but I've been tracking it ever since. I've been a fan of it ever since, and I had to get Steelbook Blu-ray of Synapse Films' Suspiria. Again, it's not necessarily a deep cut, but it's one of those films that I first saw clips of on, like, it was an MTV docuseries called Stephen King's World of Horror, and they showed actual clips of horror films, like the gruesome stuff. And I remember being completely terrified and confused as to why these 2 women were being horribly, brutally murdered in this, like, stylishly gory fashion. And they actually showed the clips. They showed clips from, like, Society and all these other films. But Suspiria really stood out. It was the first time I really had that exposure to, like, Italian horror films. And at this point, it's one of those films that I can watch. Now, I can just put it on and have it playing in the background while I'm, like, working or whatever. But, yeah, it's just visually cool. The soundtrack is great. And this remaster, it's a 4K remaster. It just looks great. It sounds great. And again, it's just something I can just put on in the background.
Okay, Bob. Just kidding.
Am I missing Bob's comments? What's he saying?
No, I'm saying 4K, so it's okay for
Yeah, it passes it passes the resolution test for Mr. Rose.
There are things that I have like I had the VHS for it. I had the clamshell like Anchor Bay thing, and there were clips and things that I didn't even see in the background that this 4K restoration brings to light. So it's just
you just said you had the VHS and you had the clamshell. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought I put those 2 together and I thought that, like, you remember those big puffy Disney VHS boxes? I thought you had like a big ass Disney box for Suspiria. Yeah, those guys.
I mean, I have, like, I don't know if I still have it, but I have, like, definitely, like, the deep red, like, Anchor Bay put out. This was the first time I actually saw, like, a lot of the Dario Argento films. It was like, I think it was the 90s or 2000s when they put them out, and it was like Deep Red and all these other films, Inferno, and I believe Suspiria was a part of it. And that was the first time I saw, like, the director's cut. I knew the sound effects that should be there and that sort of thing. I would go to, like, would go to screenings and know if they were lying about whether it was unrated or not, based on certain angles and certain things that were not in the. I almost walked out of a screening in the Village because it promised the unrated version and there was no meat in the dog scene. I was like, I almost walked out. I was like, this is it was just, so whenever I'm checking it, whenever I'm watching a screening, and it's like, if it doesn't have the meat, if it doesn't have the extra stabs or the heart shot or anything like that, I'm like, I'm out of here. So this is the definitive version. I know I think there's an Arrow Blu-ray version, which I haven't seen yet, but this was the one that I was tracking for a while, the Synapse Films one, and I'm happy with it. I'm fine with it. So, yeah.
I just bought Deep Red. That's a good one. Deep Red is a good one.
I'm gonna I gotta buy them all. Like on Blu-ray. Like Deep Red, I love the soundtrack. I think that and Suspiria went on to inspire like John Carpenter for Halloween. Like you can hear it in the music and the cinematography and all that sort of stuff. So I love learning that history of it and how it sort of inspired other stuff. But yeah, Deep Red. I like Inferno. It's a wacky film, but I would buy it. And Tenebrae. Tenebrae is a good one too. But yeah, I'm kind of an Argento fan. You haven't noticed. That's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. You know who worked on that release? Vincent Pereira from the View Askew archivist. I believe he worked on that 4K Synapse release that came out.
It looks great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're down to two more. We have Tim and Nate, who I feel like both of these guys want to be last. Somebody wants to be last. It's like,
I just haven't thought about. I just don't have anything to say. Like I'm like, yeah, I picked the movie.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what am I? No, I can go.
Listen, if you guys want to just like sit and insult each other, and we'll just all watch.
Nathan is doing that thing where like the longer he doesn't talk, the more mysterious, and it's like a third man, right? When he finally shows up, we'll all be like, "Whoa!"
It's just a used copy of Son of the Mask on DVD. I mean,
no, why did you spoil it for us?
I'm just gonna be like Chris Farley on SNL, be like, it was good. I liked it.
Brevity, man. Brevity. I love it. Okay, Tim, right. You're up. Go for it.
Sounds good. So I picked one that I have a slight I think this is probably not going to be uncommon for many of the people in this room. I have a problem where I'll just buy movies kind of sight unseen. And the thing that I'll do is I will get a collection because I'll recognize one movie and I'll be like, oh shit, that's good. Oh, it comes with 6 more? They're probably good too. Usually I'm wrong. One of the times I was not wrong though was this one, which is the Scream Factory Vincent Price Collection Volume 1. Doesn't even have a volume on it. It's just the Vincent Price Collection. It was out of print. They've since then reprinted it. I think it's available. I recommend people to watch it. So interestingly enough, one of the reasons why I really wanted to kind of bring this one up is it first of all contains like all the good stuff. Oh, my camera's garbage here. Okay. So it contains this, the Abominable Dr. Phibes, which is easily the greatest film that I've ever seen. I'd say the greatest film that's ever been made, but then someone's going to fight me probably. But easily one of my favorite things. Holds a very special place in my heart as Rick Evan, if you haven't not seen it, you should see it.
There's many things I have not seen that I should have seen. So
yeah, but I mean, this one I don't think is going to freak you out. Like,
good, even better.
I think at a lot of festivals, people are like, "You haven't seen this? You should see this. They cut off a woman's face," and you're like,
"Yeah." If you tell me that, I'm out automatically on the cutting off of faces.
No, it is very classy. Although I will say, for my own English lit background, Theater of Blood, which is arguably kind of the same plot, is very also similar. Delightful. Plus, that one has Diana Rigg in a bizarre role, but it's delightful. But yeah, this one is particularly... very much. Especially at the end of Abominable Dr. Phibes, where it's just like, you got to get the key out of your son, and you're like, I've seen this in the early 2000s. Huh, weird. The other thing that I really like about this release, first of all, these are all like, I like the second volume because it has the sillier ones. Like it has the Raven, which is just so fun. But this one does have, again, also has the Haunted Palace, which I'd never seen or even heard until I hit this release. And, as someone who's, I made some Lovecraft adaptations, realize like stumbling upon it as it's like, this is Edgar Allan Poe's The Haunted Palace. And like 2 minutes in, you're like, the hell it is? This is just that Lovecraft. Holy shit. And it's a very straight adaptation of that. And it's got Vincent Price in it. And arguably Cthulhu, maybe. I don't know. There's something that Roger Corman built and shoots through a fuzzy lens. But yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy this collection. It really cemented, like I love Vincent Price, but it really did kind of like hit after hit after hit for me. Just go, oh yeah, no, he's the king at this. This is absolutely delightful. And the nice thing I really enjoyed about this collection is it has his PBS intros for a lot of his films. So you'd see, I think mostly just the Edgar Allan Poe ones. So there's not one for Fibes because I guess they didn't air that on public television, which is bullshit. But for Pit and the Pendulum, House of Usher, Mask of the Red Death, I think even for the Haunted Palace, he's in a tux in front of a fireplace, just pleasantly recalling some memories from the films. In the 80s, and it's just such a delight because even through that he comes across just so warm, and it's like, I hope you enjoy this thing that's going to terrify you, and you're like, haha, I will. But yeah, so I didn't pull like the rarest and weirdest thing that I have because I couldn't find it. But I wanted to pick something that I'd be able to talk about, and that does mean a bit to me. Although if anyone watching this has any ability to actually do like nice releases of something, seriously, someone put out a nice release of Theater of Blood. Like, holy shit, that thing is on a 2-sided DVD with I think Madhouse, which is and it's just like
wait, Madhouse with Kirstie Alley and John Larroquette, because that's fucking genius right there.
No, the one with I think it's Madhouse. I don't know. It's Cushing and Price, and they're not on screen enough, and it's just kind of tepid compared to the delight of Theater of Blood. But yeah, it looks
not the same.
Yeah. It's not as it looks like garbage. Bob would hate it. Bob would be like, look at it's like 4 pixels. No, thank you.
Bob is so bougie.
He doesn't even have a 4K TV, so
Yeah, I mean,
look, you can have the discs that say 4K on them, put them on the shelf, they'll look real nice. Also, Nathan, I'm eyeing that Tremors disc behind your head. That is
is that the Arrow one?
Yeah, you like?
That is a nice,
nice
set.
It's a very, very cool set. I had a lot of fun revisiting that film, but that is not the film that I picked this week. Am I good to go? Or do you?
Yeah. No. Go into it, and then we'll just open it up. Go ahead, Nate. Take us on.
So I waited forever for this movie to come out, like on a Criterion or like a Scream, Shout Factory, Arrow, something, and there's nothing ever happened. And I know I gave it away earlier. Look, you laugh, but somebody has probably already written an essay on how brilliant that movie is. They should be thrown in prison. So this is one of my favorite films of all time, and it is. This is a Korean import of A Bittersweet Life, directed by Lee Byung-hun. Directed by Kim Ji-woon, starring the devastatingly handsome Lee Byung-hun, who is.
That's
too sexy.
Yes.
Like,
this is an amazing set. This is one of the best things about Korean Blu-rays is that they're locked to our region in the States, Region A. So you can pretty much order whatever you want if you don't mind paying an arm and a leg for an import. But I love this set. It's like not just a slipcase. I love collecting the slipcases, but it's just like a full like side shoe there. It's embossed. You can get right up in there. It's shiny. I can stare at that guy for hours. Seriously. And if you've never seen the film before, the plot is very basic. He's a low-level mob guy. He falls in love with the boss's daughter, and hijinks ensue. But the way this movie is staged is phenomenal. The violence in this movie, the pathos, it's just, this movie has everything I want in kind of a gangster crime film, and it's portrayed perfectly. This is arguably his best movie besides like I Saw the Devil. It's just so good. And the fact that this doesn't have a domestic release here is, I have no idea why. I don't know if it's a rights issue or what, but like, it's his only film that's not been released here in the States besides maybe The Foul King, I think, or which is a really good wrestling film. But yeah, A Bittersweet Life. If you've never seen A Bittersweet Life, this movie is fucking amazing. Like, an absolutely great crime film. Bittersweet. I mean, that's the genre. It's a bittersweet crime film. One of my favorite Korean films. And yeah, I mean, it's got all the basic bonus features you have. It's got commentary. It's got behind the scenes. A lot of it's in Korean though. So, I mean, I try to consider to be, you know, as up to date with culture as possible, but I don't understand Korean, so I don't know what to do with it.
Jeez, Nathan.
Duolingo, Nathan. Duolingo. I'm taking Danish, Spanish, French, and Hebrew right now.
What?
Exhausting.
Which means I know
That's a lot
none
of
of it.
languages.
I don't know any of them. Because I gotta do it all.
¿Tú estudias español y francés con Duolingo?
Je parle français, but not Spanish so much.
Guys, I haven't installed subtitles on this video yet. Come on, you're messing me up here. What are we gonna do?
We're shooting for an international audience, Jeff.
All right, fine. I gotta say, guys, I think everybody crushed it. Truly,
Did you share, Mr. Frumis? Do you have a pick for tonight?
I sure did, and you missed it. And
I
it was
know.
like,
I'm sorry. I suck.
it's okay. No, you don't suck. I could totally make that. You know, it's funny though. I was like, oh well, you know, Nate and Steve, they're both festival directors, so of course they're you know, they understand time stuff, and so you know,
I thought it was 9:30.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry. I'm so
It's
sorry.
all good. It's all good. No, you guys were great. That was so much fun. Let's open it up for crosstalk, which means the conversation can just evolve. We had a bunch of comments. I didn't want to interrupt anybody to go to the comments, so I just pushed them up. I think you guys can see them. I just want to say, I'm going to share my screen for a minute because I just want to say something about the Greasy Strangler. So I was strangled by the Greasy Strangler
Nice.
and his son right there. It was one of
Nice.
my most favorite and treasured pictures of all time. This was at a preview screening. We went to an after party with the cast. The whole cast was there. We went to the after party and we ate greasy hot dogs with Sky
Wait, was this in
and
Brooklyn?
Michael. This was in Brooklyn.
I was there.
Were you there? Oh, you were there?
I was there.
What?
That was after
Yeah, Nighthawks. Nighthawks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I want
man.
that fucking standee right there. That poster.
It has a cutout, Steven.
Oh, God.
You could put your head in and you could take a picture. And as soon as you started talking about the Greasy Strangler, I was like, I have to show that I was strangled by the Greasy Strangler. I walked right up to him and I was like, would you please strangle me? I don't think we had seen the movie yet either. I was just like, I have to be
I
strangled.
just want to be strangled.
I'm wondering now how many New York events have we been like passing each other and not realizing it.
It's a small
Wait,
scene, man. It's a small
I was
scene.
definitely there eating those greasy hot dogs and thinking, why am I eating these greasy hot dogs? They're horrible.
Yeah, so you were there. There was that's what
It
I'm
was
saying.
extra
We were
on it. It was just disgusting.
Yeah, the greasiness of that hot dog does not sound delightful.
oh my god.
Myself. Give me another one.
We were literally there with the cast, just like
Yep.
they were giving out free hot dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just eating hot dogs.
The actress
And
was
just
there. I was a fan of the actress. I thought she was great in that film.
she was amazing. Super nice too.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Was the cast eating the greasy hot dogs, or did they know better?
Yes.
Everybody was
I
eating
sat with Sky in the back at a table, and him and I and a couple other people, we were eating hot dogs together, and it was awesome.
Super jealous.
So yeah, I just had to say that.
I just picture Jeff walking up to Michael St. Michael's saying, "Excuse me, will you strangle me?" And Michael St. Michael's saying, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here to see the movie." And Jeff said, "Movie?"
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. So, but yes, it's and by the way, for anybody, a recommendation for anybody who has not seen it, it's on. I think it's free. It's on. It aired originally on Cartoon Network. So that guy, Jim Hosking, is his name?
Yeah.
Not Hosking.
Hosking. Just
Hosking.
the one.
Yeah, this guy is a nut. He's just an odd nut of a guy, like in the best way possible. And this dude, first of all, if you haven't seen the follow-up film, An Evening with Beverly Bluff or something, phenomenal.
Excuse me, sir. It's 2 words. An Evening with Beverly Bluff Lynn.
It's really great.
Do you? Oh, sorry.
It was a strange.
What'd you say, Brian?
I was just saying that was a strange movie.
Yeah. That was
Yes.
fun. Well,
Yes.
okay. What was the first
Wait,
Jim
hold on.
Hosking?
Oh, it was the ABCs of Death thing. But before I get there, hold on, I don't want to forget this. Tropical Cop Tales.
I haven't watched it.
It's on Adult Swim. It's a show. They're 10-minute episodes. There's 10 episodes, so it's 100 minutes. Michael St. Michael's is in it. Everybody that's in the Greasy Strangler's in it. It is so much more bizarre than even the Greasy Strangler. Okay.
My friend Lucas Godfrey went down to Dominican Republic to work on that.
Right.
He did.
That's where they shot it.
Yeah, he said it was the most bizarre experience of his life.
Oh my God.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm ashamed.
It's going to be your favorite TV show. It's just really that great. I don't know what else to say about it. And I can't even begin to describe, nor should I. You should just go in surprised and just have your face melted off by tropical cocktails. So check that out. So.
Just another Greasy Strangler anecdote. Last year, when we had our second year of Grindsploitation, our buddy Brian Neri, who is a volunteer at Genre Blast because he lives in Winchester, he was excited about coming down and helping out at second Grindsploitation. So to get him ready for the program, because it's more out there than Genre Blast, it's just more nastier, we made him watch The Greasy Strangler the night before.
Yes.
It's Chad and I's one of our favorite films, just bar none. It's in our vocabulary. So we made him watch it. And I almost didn't watch the movie. I just watched his reaction the entire time. And I think I posted something on Facebook about it. His face was priceless the entire time. It was one of the most sublime experiences I've ever had, just to have him watch that whole film. And
he still won't get in a car with me, like refuses.
No?
It is aggressively gooey. That
It
movie.
is. The scene where the dad comes disguised as the cop who looks like John Carpenter, and his fingernails, and I thought I was going to have a seizure from laughing so hard and being disgusted at the same time. I was like, I have to stop the movie because this is too much for me. It was so funny. I don't know where someone comes up with that. It just makes
what is that plot?
Why am I bothering with writing anything? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I love that movie so much.
It's very much like someone had a fever dream, and it wasn't like, oh, this is what my movie's inspired by. This is the movie. This is it. It's I had too much Mountain Dew and popcorn, had trouble sleeping, chugged a bottle of ZzzQuil, woke up the next day, pounded the script out, filmed it. Like that was.
By the way, listen. Sorry, super quick. We accidentally said Ricafette's trigger word, which is fever dream. She can't hear that word. It's like nails on a chalkboard for her, and so she has left the building. She's so upset and angry at us. Right? No, I'm just kidding. She had to leave early.
She just blocked me. I noticed. I got the notice on Facebook. She just blocked me.
No. She had to leave early for a work thing. We knew this in advance, and we decided the best way was that she would just drop out, and I would explain why she was gone. So no. She that's why she left. But she did a great job. It was awesome to have her. And yeah, dude, friggin' and you know what's interesting about the ABCs of Death too, which has a Jim Hoskins short. He did G is for Grandpa, which is has a lot of the same DNA that would be put into the Greasy Strangler.
And ends with a slow push in on the stump of a missing old man's penis. It's fantastic. It's beautiful.
It's great. It's truly, truly great. I also want to say I really appreciated Tim's pick because I just love Vincent Price so much. Freaking, I could talk about Vincent Price endlessly. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. I remember when I saw that for the first time, I literally, my jaw hanging open because I'm going, oh my God, like Saw, everybody's, masturbating to Saw, like, how great it is in the aughts. And why isn't anybody bringing up the fact that it's essentially, this is just like the Blair Witch and Cannibal Holocaust? Not to say that Blair Witch was not revolutionary in what it was, but it had the found footage format that the framing device for Blair Witch did exist before the Blair Witch. And it's the same thing with Saw and a movie like Abominable Dr. Phibes, which are definitely about different things, but, very similar in approaches. So I just want to say that.
You know what movie wasn't a retread of something that came before it?
What? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I got to say, I really, Nate, I loved your pick too, man. I was kind of like, as soon as I heard the word Tremors, my ears perked up too. Cause I was like, I'm dying to know, was that the Arrow box set that you had gotten?
Yes, it is.
And it's worth every pretty penny?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up. I'm definitely.
It's gorgeous. It's got all kinds of cool little artwork and posters and diagrams of the graboids, and it's just a cool. If you like physical media, it's got all kinds of nice little collectibles in there. It's perfect.
You guys all have better vision than I do. I can't make anything out behind Nathan.
He got the Godzilla box set behind him too. I see it right on top of his head. He's got that Criterion Godzilla box set that you can't really put on your shelf because it's so big.
Yeah, there's nowhere for it to go. It's like sideways next to on like a bookshelf that I keep children's books for like my nephew on. It's just
like one of those old CD albums they used to release in the 90s. Like, Creedence Clearwater Revival's greatest hits in a giant book.
Yeah, nowhere to put this, but I'm glad I have all these discs arranged like this.
Nate, have you made it through? Did you get through the whole set, or are you just slowly savoring it like a fine wine or package of nuts or box of chocolate, or
slowly savoring it? I have a very schizophrenic movie watching habits. I have to look at it and then decide whether I want to watch it. Then I'm never like, I'm going to watch this ahead of time. I have to literally stand there in front of my collection and go, what does my brain want right now? And that's how I choose.
Isn't that the best feeling? Isn't that why we do what we do? Isn't that why we all have? I mean, I see it behind Steve. I see it behind Nate. You guys have seen mine over there if you were here on Zoom. I don't know, Tim and Brian, if you guys have something similar, but that is one of the best. That's one of the best parts about a collection is that you stand and you want to know what? I got to be honest with you. Streaming has sort of ruined that ritual for me, because I'm always like I'm always prioritizing new streaming stuff over stuff that I've purchased. I don't know why that is. It's really frustrating for me, and sometimes it can turn watching into a chore, and watching should never be a chore. I don't know. I don't know why that is. It's just sometimes like.
I'm more of a book person, but I'm very picky with my Blu-rays. Like I don't buy everything. I'm very picky. Like if it's in Tales Terror in the Isles, chances are I have it. I'm very 80s, 90s, and then everything after that, it's like, oh yeah, I got to stream it first or rent it first before I really commit to it. And I haven't really committed to a lot of new stuff just because.
Now, are you like me, in which when you upgrade, you hold on to the original biddies, or are you the guy that gives away or throws out their old copies because they are pseudo obsolete?
I have like 4 copies of Apocalypse Now, by the way.
I used to sell them off. Like there's stores that'll buy old copies or just donate or whatever. But I lost count of how many different versions of Halloween I have, and everything except
wow.
Like I bought even the cheesy Blockbuster version. That was the version no one should ever see. I bought that once just because it was there, and it was all full frame, and Pan and Scan. It was terrible. It was awful.
Oh, pan and scan.
That's
That's a sin, Paul.
Yeah,
That's a
I
sin.
saw the
Oof.
first time I saw it widescreen was I'm aging myself here, but I saw it Laserdisc in college, and I was like, I'm never watching full frame ever again. Like that's the way it's supposed. That's the way you're supposed to watch a John Carpenter film. And
Yeah.
it just changed my life. So it was just like, oh my god, everything I've been missing all these years are on the other sides of the frame. So that's when I really learned about widescreen and enjoyed it. And I was like, no more full frame, no more pan and scan. If I get it for my birthday or Christmas, just take it away. I don't want it. So yeah.
I got to tell you, when I was slinging discs at like FYE and Sam Goody and like Borders Books in the music and movies department, I would always push. I'm sorry?
I said RIP all of them. I missed all of them.
RIP to all of them. I worked at every one of them. And when I was selling discs, I would always push people. Yeah, let's pour some out. I don't have anything. I just have this jug of bubble gum. I'll just start pouring that all over my keyboard a little bit, just so we can.
Oh my god!
I
had the weirdest craving for gumballs last night. I just desperately wanted some gumballs. I have never. Anyway, sorry.
No, I just was saying that I would push people. I would push people to like, not buy full screen. I'd be like, and this is what I would say. This was my selling point for widescreen. I'd say, let me tell you something. Even though you got those 2 black bars, you do realize that you're getting about 50% less movie because they're hacking off the sides of the movie. You're not even paying for a full movie. You're only paying for half of a movie. It's like a bird that had its wings cut off. It can't fly anymore. And I used to tell, not to everybody, but I would let people in on that secret and try to push people towards widescreen. I remember when the Star Wars DVD box that came out and you have the gold and the silver, people were like, should I buy the gold or should I buy the silver? And I'd be like, dude, get the silver, man.
Yeah, I remember widescreen VHS tapes, and I think it was I think it was either Blade Runner or Last of the Mohicans was the first one I saw. I remember my parents just going, "What the fuck is this shit?" Like, and I was like, "This is how it's supposed to look in the theater," but they were like, "But we're not in the fucking theater. Like, gives a shit."
Right.
I'm just like, whatever. I'll take them into my room.
So I got a dumb question.
You know,
why did TVs start square? I mean, not square, but like close to square. What the fuck? Like, was it because
film
nobody
was
ever connected at the time the idea of TV and movies?
Well,
Or was it a physical limitation?
I mean, look at for instance, look at original, look at cartoons from like the 30s, 40s, 50s. Look at old films from the 30s, 40s, whatever. I don't know what the precise film school terminology is anymore, but whatever 4:3 or close to 4:3. I don't think it's exactly 4:3. It's something. And maybe that's why that's where the TV gets its shape from. And then maybe that's how it works. But here's the funny thing about video technology and like format technology in general. This is like innate in human beings that invent these things. They make that shit so fucking complicated. Why is it so complicated? Why do we need 23.976 frames? Why can't we have 24 frames? Why do we need 29.997 frames? And I'm sure there's some, well, actually, Jeff, there's a reason why, because but
I shoot all my movies in 25.
Yeah, exactly. PAL, you know what I mean? And that's even weirder. It's like because we're in a different part of the world, we use a different voltage, and therefore all our movies have to be 25 frames per second. But then the funny thing is, so technically the movies take up more room because there's an extra frame in there, right? Like, so it's like it's such a clusterfuck. And then you have like the different color saturations. Like I remember reading about the red on Japanese TVs is super different from the red in American TVs. And if you watch something from Japan, it like bleeds out extra saturated. I don't know, crazy shit like that. And it's just like, I don't know. It's nonsense. It's madness, is what I should say.
Too much math for my feeble mind, my feeble liberal arts mind to grasp.
I read recently that some people are just born with a fourth type of cone in their eyes. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like there are some people who legit have like yellow receptive cones in their eyes, in addition to the red, green, and blue receptive cones. And I cannot tell you, it is like a poetic level of fury on my part that I will never know what they get to see. Like, how is it different? You know, I'm
It's like magenta.
like furious. Yeah. Like it doesn't really exist. Like it's just, you know, So if you're one of those people who has all 4 cones in your eyes, just gouge your eyes out because it's not fair.
Yeah, please.
It's not fair. Fucking rude.
Straight up. Just do it. Brian, the question I wanted to ask you about
His eyes are protected from gouging though. Like all he has to do is
he's got it set up. Brian, do you have you said that you play Suspiria all the time in the background, yada yada yada. So are those sound effects that you hear in the film, are they like telegraphed, like burned into your brain in the same way that Dawn of the Dead's sound effects are burned into my part of my brain?
It's kind of like I said, my first experience with it was watching that Stephen King World Horror docuseries, and so I'm very keen on. I'm very aware of like certain sound effects that should be there, and the music and that sort of thing. Like the opening death scene, spoiler, but there's a specific effect with like some cables being ripped apart and like the woman hanging and that sort of thing. In some versions, you can hear like of the cables. And in other versions, like the music is very overpowering, so you don't really hear it. I'm cool with it the way it is as of now, because it's just, I know this is the uncut version, but there is a very specific, almost like if the music lowers down, so you can hear the cables being like ripped apart and then the woman hanging. It's like there's very specific little things that, you know, very sick things that Dario would put in his film that was just like, oh yeah, this is the legit version, and that's when I said, like, when the dog is attacking like his owner, and you can see the dog pulling clearly it's raw meat, but in your mind it's like, oh, it's supposed to be his neck. There are some versions where that wasn't shown at all. It would just cut to like the next scene, and I'm like, this is the R-rated version. I'm out of here. You know, it was just I need to know those. I need to see those little moments. And this version, it's got it. This is the version, so I recommend it to people.
I have to
answer. I apologize.
No, it's cool. I have to say one thing I forgot to say because I was rushing. I wanted to make sure that that I was trying not to take forever because I was taking forever. But the one thing I did not get a chance to say about Dawn of the Dead is this. So I revisited the Cannes cut, which is the longest cut, and I revisited the Argento cut, which is the shortest cut. And for those who are aware, Dario Argento and Claudio Argento, they like produced Dawn of the Dead. And for the Italian version known as Zombie, they were the ones who edited it. It was not George who cut that together. It was Dario and Claudio. You know, they oversaw that process. And so what's very interesting, because I started watching more Italian cinema, you know, more Italian, you know, whatever, just all the stuff, all the Italian horror stuff. So I wasn't really aware of this when I used to watch Zombie all the time, but now being more keyed in on some of the aesthetics of Italian horror cinema and whatnot, it's like a world of difference when you watch the Cannes cut and the Argento cut back to back. And what's very interesting is if I did teach at a film school, or if I ever taught editing to people, I would like want to show my assignment. I realized I was like, my assignment would be to show them both versions of this movie and like compare and contrast how they tell the exact same story in 2 completely different ways. Like, it's fascinating how they decided when to use the goblin music, you know, like it's everywhere in the Argento cut, while George uses it more sparingly. And in being more, you know, conservative with the Argento music, it has so much more impact when it hits in the American versions, as opposed to the Italian version, where you're desensitized to just the same. I mean, they just go over and over again with the cues. Now, here's the other interesting thing. You know, the dun 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 dun, you know, that whatever, the action cue from Goblin. They use it in all sorts of scenes that George does not use it in, and it totally changes the energy of the scene. You know what I'm saying? Not that cue. It's a different cue. It's another cue. Whatever. I can't verbalize it to you. They use one of the cues that has high action music that is invoking high action. in all these scenes where George doesn't use it, and it changes the energy and the feel and the urgency of the scene. I was like what, this is, I would show this to film students. Like this is how music will change the tone of your scene or lack thereof. You know what I mean? Like, you know, back and forth. And yeah, it was just a very interesting sort of like lesson for me to like learn about editing and the way that they make choices. And, you know, the Italians, they just like straight up cut out like whole like swaths of subplot that are necessary to the story. Like they don't even show you the truck getting parked the first time. They just cut to the second one. They're like, screw you if you don't understand what's going on. They're just like, they just don't care with all abandon. And what results is you get a much quicker, more action-packed film. But here's the thing about Dawn. Dawn is not an action film. It's like a character film. It's like there's so much more going on with Dawn. And that's why, in a way, the more there is, the better in that kind of way. I don't know, because you're learning more about the characters and stuff. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to say about that.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you know, looking at like that era, especially of Italian horror, in terms of what's important, it is not plot. It is feeling. It is like, you know, what is the feeling you get out of it? You know, what is the, you know, emotion? I mean, Suspiria is, you know, I mean, Brian, that's a great pick. It's a wonderful example of that because, you know, that movie is, I would almost, I mean, it's definitely one of his more accessible ones, which is, you know, compared to Inferno maybe and other fun things. But it's just the feeling of that film that goes from like beginning to end is just unrelenting. I don't know. That might be the right word. I used to teach a writing class. It was not a creative writing class. People were learning how to write like 5-paragraph essays and rebuttal arguments about like gun control. And so I would teach them the importance of different genres is like a part of writing, and I'd show them part of Suspiria because, you know, why not? Low key, I was just trying to make these people watch Suspiria. That it's like,
awesome.
Hey, we're gonna watch the first 6 minutes or so of this. I'd stop before anyone died, but just before anyone died, I think I got a couple of people to watch it. I think I eventually had someone like hunt it down because I did remember someone once said, "Hey, Mr. T, I watched that movie. It messed me up." And honestly, like you know, the years I spent teaching, I mean that's what matters.
Plus, you got them to call you Mr. T, which is pretty sweet.
They didn't get it. Like it was completely unironic. Like they had no idea. They like, oh, your name ends with a T. Hey, Mr. T, and I'm like, haha. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh God, I'm old. And
You should have started singing "Treat Your Mother Right." You should jump on the desk and be like, treat your mother right.
And there would have just been like cricket noises and silence.
What's he doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you want our essays? Yeah. I don't know. It would be wild. Actually, I had a question because I think, you know, Brian, you would know, and maybe you all know more than I do. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but I know there's multiple cuts of Suspiria. One has like weird gooey letters at the start, right?
Oh, I love those letters.
Yeah, am I remembering that correctly?
There's like the American version, the opening titles, and then there's the titles. I believe I want to say I could be wrong there. I think the Italian titles have the GUI and the American one. I could be getting that mixed up. Someone might want to comment on that. But yeah, there's like a difference between the U.S. release. You know, when it was picked up, I think it was Fox or something like that. But yeah, there's difference in the titles, like the Italian titles and then the U.S. titles.
They're like organs.
Yeah, because I have.
It's like almost like the precursor to the heart shot. Exposed heart, which is inexplicable, but it's there. So you know, let's just show a beating heart, and you know, I don't know how they did that effect. I never looked into like the behind the scenes of that. I am a little concerned because, we know Argento's kind of a freak, but, I was like, hopefully no one really was killed. But it's a
I got to tell you,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
tell you, I have, I've tried to get into Argento. I've seen some stuff. The film that really, I just really enjoyed, like from front to back, bottom to top, just all the way down was, Suspiria is okay for me. I'm not a big, personally, Phenomena, the bug one with Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah.
That is a batshit movie.
It really is. I will never give away the ending, but I cackled when I first saw that. I was just like,
I died.
But it went on to like inspire, like if you ever see Urban Legends 2, there's like a death scene where there's like a woman with the kidney heist, and then she gets her head cut off in a window. I'm like, that's straight out of Inferno and Phenomena. I was like, come on, guys, really? And they never acknowledged it, but I was like, I know what that's from.
That music is phenomenal too.
Yeah, it was like a real. He was like, was it Goblin or other like rock?
I think it was one of the dudes from Goblin. He does this crazy it's like a fusion of synth and heavy metal at the same time.
I mean, that was one that was fun to watch once. I watched it on like Shudder or something. I was like, that ending just cracked me up. I will never spoil it. I will never.
So great.
Just check it out. Phenomena.
Yeah, I can't recommend that enough. I'd like to see it on the big screen. I feel like that would play really well. So
yeah, with a crowd. I miss those Alamo days. I miss going to the Alamo just on a Friday night or whatever, or Tuesdays or whatever. Yeah.
Dude, my Alamo for Halloween. For about 3 or 4 years ago, Dead Alive. And the 4K restoration Night of the Living Dead back to back. That was so much fun. That's how I spent my Halloween night. I had such a ball. Dead Alive played so well on the big screen. Everybody was cackling, just hooting and hollering in that theater. It's great.
I kick ass for the Lord.
I kick ass for the Lord.
I tried eating meals during watching Dead Alive and Demons, and those are two films I just can't eat while watching.
I should mention, so for those of you who are not aware, I know Nate is definitely aware. I know that I know actually all you guys are probably aware. But Alamo likes to do customized menu things, like for special screenings. It's really freaking great. And sometimes they even print up special. Yes, and that's what they. Yes. That's why I'm bringing that up right now. They had a motherfucking plate of custard. It was a bowl of custard, and they were daring people. They were daring people to eat this stuff, man. And I did not. God. But you know what they had in the lobby? They had a big bowl of candy, and so you could, before you walk into the screening, you could just scoop up a big handful of candy and put it in your backpack and go into the screening and watch Dead Alive and Night of the Living Dead. And man, I went by myself. It was just me. I had the best time ever.
Did they squirt just a little bit of red onto your custard when they did?
I didn't get it, dude. I didn't do the custard. They were advertising it. They made a big deal about it. Bob Rose brings up a great point. I want to talk about this because this is probably my Great White Whale, my single, most sought after release besides Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. He says, can't wait for Jackson's remastered Dead Alive. Speaking of physical media, but not just that, Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles. Yeah, we did.
Creatures. We talked about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. So, and Heavenly Creatures, right, Nate?
Heavenly Creatures. Heavenly Creatures, so good.
So disturbing and dark. I love it.
Yeah. Those movies deserve, and here's who I hope picks it up. I am praying on my hands and knees that Arrow gets those films. I only want an Arrow release. Screaming Factory will do, but Arrow is the only, anything else. If it's, again, no diss to Vinegar Syndrome or Severin or any of those boutique labels. I love them and I love what they do, but this needs to straight up be done. I want that early, just the way they did the early George Romero box set. I want that early Peter Jackson box set with the poster and some sort of thing, like maybe an enamel pin like they did for Brain Damage. The early Brain Damage box set came with an enamel pin. Yeah.
Wouldn't mind if they put the Frighteners in there too.
I hope they do the Frighteners. And speaking of the Frighteners, real quick, I just want to sidetrack. We got a couple of podcast people in the house. I had the pleasure of being on 2 of those podcasts. I was on Steve. I was on 2 of Steve's episodes for the.
This is a friendship test right here.
Hold on.
Oh,
what the fuck is the name of your podcast?
Dead to me. Dead to me. Dead.
Hold on.
Show and I know what it's called, Jeff.
The hold on. The hold up. Oh my god. Damn it. The hold up.
Actually, because I'm very bad at naming things, it's actually the hold up with Steven Stull. Because if you just search your podcast app for the hold up, you get about 19 other podcasts called the hold up before you see me. So it's the hold up with Steven Stull.
Well, you should definitely check it out. It's really fun. We do a whole deep dive on Meet the Feebles, and we also did The Dark Backward, which is a phenomenally weird, bizarre, wonderful, whimsical film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Upsetting. Another
that was one of 2 films that I, for the longest time, thought I just dreamed existed. Like I remember like waking up on the couch and being like, did I fall asleep during that movie, or did I dream the whole damn thing?
Yo, it is.
But it exists,
really is so
and
good.
it's exactly as I remember.
It's so bizarre, man. Yes, Judd Nelson, Bill Paxton, Wayne Newton, the chick from what's her
Lara Flynn Boyle, right?
Yeah, Lara Flynn Boyle. And it's directed by Adam Rifkin, who would do Detroit Rock City and The Chase. It's his second film. After Never on a Tuesday, featuring a cameo by Nicolas Cage as a guy asking people if they want to ride with a really big nose. Oh, does anybody want to ride? And the other podcast that I was most recently on and is just starting, it's breaking out. And it was also named by Nathan, just like this show. The show was named by Nathan as well. And so now we know why it's real. God damn it. What the hell is the name of your podcast?
The Real 96 Podcast.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
What was it?
Real 96.
REL
96.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes, I'm going through every single film released in 1996, and I'm already regretting.
Dude, no, he did. And let me tell you something. Bob Rose, who's in the audience right now, Bob Rose and myself and Nathan, we had the best time ever talking about Dunstan Checks In. I can't wait. No, you don't understand. You don't understand.
We did 90 solid minutes on Dunstan Checks In.
90 minutes, dude. And let me tell you something. That dialogue was friggin' magic, man. It was magic. We had so much fun. We were just like riffing on it and talking about it and having a great time. You know, it's funny because like Steve's podcast is kind of like, a deep dive, like, sort of like we're talking about like metaphorical stuff and yada, yada, yada. And Nate's podcast, it's more like nostalgic oriented, but at the same time, like we're dissecting Dunstan in a way that no one has ever thought about this movie.
The people making it probably didn't think about it the way you guys are thinking.
Right. We thought about it, and we also did Biodome, and that was
90 minutes on Biodome, for fuck's sake.
We did 90 minutes on Biodome.
I think that's more time spent than whoever kind of like worked on the script for Biodome.
Don't tell that to Mr. Fox.
I just did an hour on Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice with John Hale and Nick Shampoo from Lieutenant Jangles. So,
nice.
Oh my God. Gotta check that out.
This is so. I mean, the episodes are really fun. I have to watch 228 movies from 1996,
and it's outside your normal watching diet. So this is like homework.
So this is pretty much what I'm watching for the year. So I'll have 2021 movies to watch next year. It's nice to know that your movies are set out, though. I have to watch these movies. So it's not like, oh, what am I going to watch? I know that I have to watch The Lawnmower Man 2 on DVD.
Yeah, you got homework now.
I know.
But no, so Nathan, unlike The Lawnmower Man 2, some of them are going to be bad.
I fucking hated Biodome. Like, I get that
really
some
did.
people think it's an underappreciated masterpiece, and that's fine. I do not.
Disagree.
I don't.
Not funny at all.
I don't think that's fine. I think those people should apologize.
What was,
like,
what
whatever.
was the quote? What was that quote from the movie that there was literally this line literally existed, and it was so bad I actually had to write it down for when we were reviewing it. It was he had to take a pee in a waterfall, so he goes, "Welcome to the place where I'm about to take a pee."
Who the fuck is he talking to? Like, what is happening right now?
Like, yo, he really said that. He
They
said,
literally just turned on the camera and said, "Polly, just do whatever the fuck you want to do."
yeah.
That sounds probably like anything that. Yeah, I bet there any behind the scenes features would be like, yeah, we just turned on the camera and
To be inside William Atherton's mind in that movie, I would pay a lot of money, like being William Atherton, and it's only on the set of Biodome while watching Pauly Shore act, quote unquote.
Art imitating life, or life imitating art, where the actor goes crazy like the character himself. There's a part in that movie too where the parrot just randomly shows up, starts sprouting about how it's God.
Yeah, they introduce the parrot, and then in the next scene, he fucking eats him. Like, there's no bridging scene whatsoever.
He goes,
Spoiler
"No,
for young kids.
I am God."
So dark.
Dude, it was really something else. And I have to say though, I do admire it's almost like a crusade in what you're doing. You've literally chosen to relive the movie life of a year in your life from the past, if that made any sense when I just said it just now, of 1996.
So yeah,
Why-
that's a good question,
why
Nathan. I'm
96?
curious. Why 96?
Well, it's kind of a
Those are like-
sentimental. It's mostly for sentimental, selfish reasons. But '96 was the year that I got my first job ever, and coincidentally, it was at a movie theater. And up until then, I had just been your basic movie-going schlub. And once I got that job at the movie theater, it just opened my eyes to a world of cinema, and I just started devouring everything, and I watched everything. And free movies, that's a potent drug, man. I tell you what. And that kind of started my identity, basically, from where I'm at today. So I kind of wanted to go back 25 years later exactly and dissect these movies that kind of opened my world up to bigger, more movies from all over the world. So we're going to talk about them all. I'm going to talk about Fargo and Lone Star, all the good stuff, and we're going to talk about fucking,
Lawnmower Man too.
Fat Beach and
ID4. That was actually the year I started working in a movie theater in the city. Like ID4.
Well, thanks for
Eraser, Phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
I can't wait to get
Right.
requests.
Michael.
Oh, with the angel.
angel.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Michael, yeah. There's 2 John Travolta blockbusters. There's also Phenomenon.
Yeah, that's what we're honest with you. Thanks for doing the math and pointing out that it's been 25 years since I graduated high school.
Can you believe that? I graduated in '97, so I'm right behind you.
You're like,
It's just
minutes.
you gotta be kidding me.
Listen, this is the Lord's work you're doing, and I commend you for it. And I really hope to see you again along your journey. I sent you my wish list with no expectations.
There's plenty of spots.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound too desperate, but I would love to get in on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share the list in the alumni page and my letterbox list, and you can see who's signed up and who's not signed up, and you guys can let me know. Everybody's.
Team Watchover.
I'm going to get everyone for Barbed Wire. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Team Watchwire wants to be in on Barbed Wire.
I mean, who wouldn't? Like,
That's one where the
Barbed
trailer was,
Wire.
Yeah.
trailer was 10 times better than the actual movie.
Okay, want to hear a
Emma-
confession?
Emma was
I've
playing
never
my theater.
I've seen it. I've never seen Barbed Wire.
Can't miss it much.
It's not even.
yeah, I was gonna say,
It's not a fun bad movie. It's just a bad.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that's much of a confession. That's sort of like it's sort of like confessing. It's like, I've never thrown up in a library. It's like
It's not like
Right.
RoboCop 3 where you can have fun with that shitty movie. It's
Oh
like
my God,
it's
RoboCop
like
3
just-
is so bad.
it's like Biodome. It's a fucking
Wait,
short.
you didn't have fun watching RoboCop 3?
It's ironic fun.
Barbed Wire is the best Casablanca remake ever made. Okay, now I have to watch Barbed Wire. Okay.
That kind of makes sense.
Ooh, a barbed wire orgy. Okay, that would be that's wacky, wild stuff. That's very.
It's their voice throughout the whole movie. Don't call me babe.
What else is from the 90s that is just like
Emma
that?
With Paltrow. That was
Yeah.
a blockbuster at my feet. Like,
Wait,
all
which
the-
one?
all
Which
the-
Paltrow?
Emma, the Jane Austen.
Ah.
Yeah, that was selling out like crazy. I was like, what is this movie about? It was a picture. The poster was like Gwyneth Paltrow with a teacup.
Oh,
What about
wasn't she the arrow?
Yeah.
The one that we had in the theater was like she had a teacup, and I was like, that's the most action-packed looking poster I've ever seen for a Jane Austen movie.
Okay,
Just, like,
I'm
it was
freaking
selling
out right now.
every night, selling out every day.
My video
It was
feed
good.
doesn't
I did get to
mirror.
see it. It was entertaining.
Oh yeah. Try
Every-
that. Try pointing in the direction you want to point. You'll always point in the opposite direction every time.
Oh,
I feel like
Every
somebody's
time.
punching me. I feel like somebody's like got a fist coming in from the wrong side of the.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. All right, Tim, you're right next to me, so I'm gonna try and punch you, and you gotta move your head like this, right at the same time.
Here we
One,
go.
2, 3. Oh, it's delayed. It doesn't work.
It's
Sorry for the violence. I apologize. I didn't mean to get violent there for a second. But yeah, there's just a cornucopia of 90s. It's a 90s as a wonderland, and that's what we were reveling in the 2 episodes we did on Nate's show. And just that the 90s really are a cornucopia of wonderfulness, and just so many great films to revisit, and just I don't know, just a great time.
When they hit, and when they don't hit, oh Jesus God!
Yeah, and you've committed to all of it in the year of 1996.
Well, I just watched From Dusk Till Dawn again last night, and that's revisit. I mean, so that was great. But now I have to watch the Lawnmower Man 2 next, and
ouch,
I don't want to.
Job's War.
that's like the worst palate cleanser you could.
Those CG like internet movies like Hideaway and Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2. Holy fucking God, those computer virtual reality graphics are rough to sit through. Now.
Yeah.
They're like the Maya demo disc that they used to send out.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, you remember Johnny Mnemonic where he's like, I have 2 gigabytes in my head.
Oh man,
2 whole gigabytes.
And
That didn't age
meanwhile,
well.
we all have thumb drives on our keychains, and we'd be like, Johnny, buddy,
Right.
come on.
Yeah, that stuff is trippy.
Oh, speaking of old physical media, did anybody else have the orange VHS tape of Johnny Mnemonic?
I know that orange tape. I did not own it, but I do know that it was orange. That is like a fact of life.
I had the orange tape with the translucent cover, and I'm very upset that I don't have it right now.
I had the orange Good Burger VHS.
That's right.
Because it's Nickelodeon.
They're bringing that back. They're doing a sequel to Good Burger
with the 2 guys, the original
2 guys. And what people may or may not remember about the Keenan and Kel TV show is that motherfucking Ken Foree was Keenan's dad.
What?
Keenan's dad was Ken Foree. And every time I would see that show, I'd always be like, that's Peter. That's Peter. I'd just be so blown away that is Peter. I love stuff like that. Like Ringo Starr is the conductor on whatchamacallit.
The train thing. Thomas.
Yeah. That stuff is so much fun, man. Or Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop was in Pete and Pete. He played
Pete. Yeah,
dude.
He
He played the
had
dad.
so many great
The best
musical
show.
cameos. Also, it's the best. And it makes me angry that I can't. Well, okay, I have season 1 and season 2 on DVD.
Season 3 is impossible to get
because it didn't exist. There's a picture of what the cover art was supposed to be, and then
I have it if you need it.
I'm not going to say no.
Okay,
we should talk.
I
know the 3rd season isn't amazing, but
dude, what are you talking about? That's the introduction of Wayne. Remember Wayne, the wiener named Wayne, and he couldn't get his white shoes dirty, so he was standing on in this island, waiting for because there was green smudges or he was afraid of getting green smudges on his white kicks. And there was the bully who had who made origami paper cut.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Artie like took a bullet for little Pete, and he ate one of the ninja stars that was meant for little Pete, and he's like, a tasty morsel, like, as he's like pulling it out of his mouth. I don't know, so great.
It's just a delightful show. I don't know. I liked that it, especially at the time, there was nothing else that had that feel to it. Like, it was just very singular in terms of like, this is the world that we've created and everyone's just going to accept it. None of this is strange. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is all perfectly normal. We took a metal detector to the beach, found a car, drove it home. Fine.
But that was like but that was also like the 90s was a time for originality in that kind of way. It was also a time of remakes. You had like the Brady Bunch, like they were doing updates of the 60s television shows, but the 90s was a time where you could have shit like Cartoon Sushi or Beavis and Butthead or The Head. Remember The Head guy? Or The Max. Or just like
that whole era of like, you could turn on MTV late at night and you'd either get metal, which was good, or you get insane cartoons, which was also good. And like, I mean, again, and all of which would feel like something you maybe had a nightmare about.
Well, we got an Eon Flux movie. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but
wait, say that again.
We got an Eon Flux movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They're wrong.
Yeah.
Wet Short.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's just a selection. It's just a selection.
You lucky duck.
34 actually.
I love the Max.
Yeah.
Great.
Max was so great,
Max
man.
is so good.
That should have had that. See, that's something that needed. All right. Question: who directs in this day and age? Who do you want to direct the Max live action adaptation in 2021? Go.
Is it too easy to say Del Toro? Is that a cop out?
Actually, I feel like that's it. I don't think that's a cop out at all. That's kind of a bullseye that I was not thinking of. My pick is Werner Herzog.
Nice.
I can see it.
I'd watch the fuck out of that, man.
My concern with it, I like those options. My concern with it though is like, I just really feel like the art of it carries so much of it. Like I feel like that's part of what makes it so distinctive is, you know, like Sam Keith's just ridiculous
Robert Rodriguez
art there.
He proven track record with Sin City. I say Robert Rodriguez does the Max. It would freaking kick ass. He tried to do that. What was that thing, Alita, which I actually really enjoyed. I don't know the source material at all.
Yeah,
it was okay. I was like, you know, it wasn't anything super spectacular, but I was like, this is fun. All right, I can get into this. I didn't know anything about what the original was. The plot was a little wonky, but it's like it's just totally Robert Rodriguez's MO, and so I could totally see him taking on the Max and giving it the Sin City treatment and crushing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone else, and I'm just drawing a blank for the Max. That's a tough one to nail as far as the visual aesthetic. I'm thinking maybe like a Bong Joon-ho might be an outside choice.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, and this is
with the Snowpiercer action.
Oh God, love Snowpiercer.
I don't know if he could do it. I think if you could pull like 80s Tsukamoto in terms of like his like the films he was making back then. He hasn't mellowed out. But he doesn't do cyberpunk stuff anymore. But I just think like that would be interesting because I mean, Nightmare Detective is unpleasant, but in like a good way. And I think he can really get that like complete nightmare vibe of what you need out of the Max. Because it's like, it's a superhero thing, but it's also like, let's go inside someone's head and it's a horrible shit show in there. And it's just awful.
Yeah, Bob Rose says Terry Gilliam if he wasn't an edgelord, and I kind of agree with that.
I'm inviting Bob in. Bob, you want to come in?
Kind of a grumpy old man.
Oh God. There goes the neighborhood.
Wait. Terry Gilliam would work. How about this for the casting the Max? How about friggin' Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't he work? He does a great that guy from Guardians. I think he would crush it at the max.
He's apparently in real life kind of a cool dude too, which is nice. It's rare, Speaking of like Gilliam going all fucking like bitter and old.
Yeah,
like a Rick Stevenson or something like that, or he'd be good too. Kevin Durant.
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Kevin would work.
Durant. He needs more stuff. I need to see him in more.
You know what the sad truth is? You know who they would get, and it would suck. They would get The Rock.
I like The Rock, but he's not right for that role.
I like The Rock too, but that's what I'm saying. He's not right for it, and they would force it on him because they're like, "Well, this is an obscure property, so we need The Rock to put nuts in seats."
You can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if The Rock would do something where you never see his face. Like I feel like he probably wouldn't. He probably wouldn't be on board for that.
You could do the makeup to the max in a way where you could have. You don't have to pull a Willem Dafoe Spider-Man, like The Greatest Crime. Take the most expressive, dramatic, dynamic face in the world and then put a mask over it. God damn it.
You just go with Ron Perlman if he's down.
Yeah.
Did you see the test footage of the animatronic Green Goblin face?
Yes.
I liked it. I was in.
Yes.
It was amazing.
That was delightful.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
Whoa, we just hit that weird.
Movies.
Dead air. Oh no, it's dead air. Stop
Pause.
it. Stop it. Stop it.
Quick, somebody throw a pie.
Yeah. You just reminded me of the Three Stooges, my favorite Three Stooges episode, Spook Louder, where they're throwing the pies. And it's just like the greatest. It's just the greatest, man. And nobody knows who's throwing the pies. And then the bomb, that weird, circular bomb gets thrown around. It's just phenomenal.
Did those bombs ever exist, or are they like purely an invention of?
I wonder that.
Yeah, the traditional bomb shape is
round with the little nib and the fuse sticking out, a little nipple on top.
I think they did because I know like the older versions of like the grenade is just it's the ball that breaks into like the kind of like pomegranate kind of seeds, but yeah. Except they kill you.
There's that little thing.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Jeff, I do also love that that short, especially the ending where it just for no reason cuts back to that professor who's been telling the story, and they're like, "Who threw the pies?" It's like, "It was me," and then someone throws a pie at him. And you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It's so great. It's so great.
It's fantastic. Although I will plug.
Please, yes, plug.
It's not even any of my stuff. I will plug the W.C. Fields short, The Fatal Glass of Beer, which I watched recently because we had a bunch of snow here, which we haven't had. And it has my single favorite recurring gag. Hey, Recovett's back. Of anything where it is a blizzard. W.C. Fields is just sad and super melodramatic. It's weird. It's like he's not doing his persona. The whole thing is clearly a parody of like melodramas of the time. But every time he opens the door or window, looks outside and he goes, "Ain't a fit night out for man nor beast." And someone like clearly with a handful of fake snow just chucks it into his face. And he just stonewall take just like, and then like, other things will happen. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. And this thing's like under 10 minutes long. And the same gag happens like 7 times. And it never gets less funny. I don't know. I also just like seeing W.C. Fields get hit in the face with fake snow. I mean, that's delightful anyway.
My favorite quote of his is they asked him, "Why do you always drink alcohol?" And his answer was, "Can't drink water. The fish are fucking in it."
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Yes, this is true.
I want to jump in real fast if we're throwing plugs out. Earlier we talked about Brian's distaste for the custard scene from Dead Alive. I have a friend named Kate McCoy from the UK which I meant to say in an accent, except I can't actually do that. She made a short film called "It's Not Custard," and I violently encourage everybody to go find that. I think it's on the BBC4's YouTube channel or something like that. But it's called "It's Not Custard," and it's about a young lady who wakes up one morning to find that her wall is pimples, like her bedroom wall is just all pimples. So anyway, yeah, It's Not Custard by Kate McCoy. Everybody needs to watch that. Everybody go Google that shit right now. Kate McCoy, It's Not Custard.
You sold me on pimples, dude.
You
All
know,
right, let's close. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say due to missing Genre Blast this year, I did not get my annual fix of thinking everything's fine, and then Nathan ending a block with just something that makes me violently ill, like just angrily ill, and I miss that. I miss that experience.
You gotta make you feel like you're secure and safe, and then
lull them.
Fuck you up real good.
Your decision to like sort of seed that stuff into just very innocuous seeming blocks, like, hey, it's the first block of the day. Come in, have some breakfast, watch a girl cut her face off. It's enjoy.
Was that God, what was that? That was the one where she's being bullied on social media.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
Oh my God! What did I see that at Genre? That was at Genre Blast, right?
That was a Genre Blast.
That was a crazy movie,
dude. That was absolutely. And then she's like, she wants to lose weight, so she keeps chopping off pieces of her body until she's like missing all of her skin in the bathroom.
Yep.
Well, she comes downstairs and she looks at her parents like, you see, now everything's fine, and their faces are just like.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
It's
on fleek or off fleek.
Yeah.
Off fleek, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, if not the first block of the day.
Good morning,
very
Tim.
Close to being the first. Yeah, oh yeah. It's like, went downstairs, had some breakfast, made it over to the Alamo, had my tea and like some kind of pastry. It's going to be a good day. Here's a music video. Here's an animated film. Girl cuts her face off. And I'm like, all right.
Oh, now I miss Genre Blast and I miss the hotel.
I know.
Yeah.
I all of it.
Soon.
Yeah.
How is that? Is that Alamo, Nate? Is that Alamo open right now, or is it doing okay? Is it?
It's open.
Oh, good.
Lucky.
So we're gonna try to do Grindsploitation there in May, I think, and then Genre Blast. As long as they're open, we're there. If they,
I gotta tell you, our Alamo has boarded up, and you don't know, it's hanging by a thread. The Alamo that's like 5 minutes from my house, like I am like chewing my nails. And again, like I'm glad it's open in Virginia, you know, but at the same time, like obviously, like, you know, shit is still crazy. I just don't want movie theaters to die, man. I just don't want them to die.
And Alamo was supposed to open up here in Orlando this past summer, and that hasn't happened.
LA hasn't had an open movie theater in over a year now, I think.
Oh,
we haven't had one open movie theater. You cannot, there are now new drive-ins everywhere. Everywhere is now a drive-in, which you couldn't, you used to have to drive an hour to get to a drive-in. Like I had never even been to a drive-in in my life before a year ago. And now it's the only option. If you want to go to any movie and you want to leave your house, you cannot. There are no theaters have been open since the beginning. Like since the beginning, like just
so crazy.
I don't even know how they're still paying for their like rent. You know what I mean? Their rent or their mortgage or whatever. Like for the
space. This is a good thing for independent theaters because they're opening. Like they just opened like a new independent theater down the road. I don't know how you do that in a pandemic, but these chains are the ones that are suffering the most. Like AMC and Regal are fucked, but they're opening. Independent cinemas, I think, are going to thrive here in the next coming months because they're filling a hole.
Well, there's the one that we did the Boo premiere at here in LA. Arena Cine Lounge is an independent, small, tiny theater. They moved their entire operation to the parking lot. So now they still have movies are just showing it in the parking lot, drive-in style. But I have 2 AMCs on my house, have not opened. Landmark has not opened. Nothing's open. You can rent out for some AMCs. You can rent out now for like $150.
$150. That's right.
And bring as many people as you want. And I almost did that because I was just like, "Here's I'm gonna bring my 3 people that I'm hanging out with, and hope, I just missed the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I even really like movies.
Yeah.
You just want the experience.
They're just so blase blah, like.
What I'm really into is sculpture. Like, I think sculpture is going to be the new big.
Yeah, just staring at sculptures in complete silence for long periods of time.
I just like watching other people sculpt things.
Yeah.
I like watching Patrick Swayze.
That's right. That's what you do.
It's called kiln.com.
Yes. No. Nate's got it. You literally sit in a room where everybody's super quiet and you just watch them sculpt something. Wait,
you should follow Seth Rogen's Instagram. He sculpts ashtrays all day long. That's all he's been doing. He's sculpting ashtrays and vases, and every day he's like, "I made this. I think they put
a lot of weed and a lot of money.
Some of them look really good. I was like, I'd buy that. I'd buy a green one.
A shit ton of money.
Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
You know what I did? We for $85 we bought a projector. We had a thing. We have a picket fence outside, and we're on a hill. So we've been all summer long for the neighborhood kids. We have a whole bunch of kids on the neighborhood block. And we all, we're outside. Everybody's like, keeps their distance, whatever. Everybody gets some chairs, respectively sits, safely distanced. We watched Jaws. We did Little Shop of Horrors. We did Nightmare Before Christmas. We did Mad Max Fury Road. We did Borat. We did a whole bunch of movies, man. And it was like, create the scene that you crave. I miss my Alamo. So we just started projecting stuff. And, I wanted to do more rated R movies, but we couldn't figure out a good Bluetooth. I wasn't worried about the picture, because nobody can really see the picture. It was more like projecting, like bad words into the neighborhood that I was afraid would cause a ruckus. But there's no you can't split a Bluetooth signal. I've found in my research.
We should have played The Way of the Gun.
Say that again.
Should have played The Way of the Gun.
Way of the Gun. Oh my God! Can you?
I have not seen it, but I can only imagine.
Nathan, I will PayPal you $20 right now if you can deliver Ryan Phillippe's opening speech.
To
Sarah Silverman.
Jesus Christ!
You don't shut that bitch up. I'm gonna start that cunt's mouth.
God.
All right.
Nathan, you kiss your children with that mouth.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
All right, what's your PayPal? You gotta.
Wait, can I take a poll here real quick? What is worse, what Nathan just said, or what's that movie, the William Friedkin movie with Matthew McConaughey? Is it Killer Joe?
Oh my God, the fried chicken scene.
Yeah. What's worse, the fried chicken scene or what Nathan just said? I don't know.
During that scene.
Don't know.
I'll say the chicken scene.
I don't know.
That scene is probably worse.
Yeah.
That scene is
that's a hard scene to sit through.
That's a hard scene to sit through, but
and then film to me, and I'm like, but the chicken scene.
Yeah.
You can't say that. You can't say fried chicken scene because I think, ooh, that sounds good. Well, I'd like to see.
You know what?
Apparently not.
Fried chicken.
No.
It's on Hulu. Stephen, I don't know if you have Hulu. Yeah,
I do. Hulu is freaking me out, man. Apparently, they have Killer Joe and the Painted Bird.
Oh my God, the Painted Bird was brutal.
Did you ever read the book? That's all. I haven't watched the movie.
No.
I read the book though.
Melissa McCarthy, I think it was her last name. From she's in Ohio, affiliated with Nightmares Film Festival.
Oh yeah.
She read the book, and she said the book was brutal and was more brutal than the film.
Okay.
And
I hope it would have to be because the book is fucking grim. It is.
Oh my God, the movie was pretty grim.
And
I was
weird.
like,
it's like this thick too, and it's such a fucking slog, man.
Yeah. I heard. Oh, Nate's seen Come and See. I want to see that. That everybody says that's the most brutal thing.
Jesus,
out there.
man. Okay, so some friends of mine run
that is the most disturbing movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
More so than a Serbian film.
I think the Serbian film is a comedy, to be honest. It's a satire.
Yeah, there's a degree with which like the Serbian film, it feels like someone's having fun. I mean, it's not you, the audience.
But I'm not having any fun.
I'm not saying you have to laugh when he pulls the baby out and then fucks it. But
newborn porn.
that's my natural reaction to something like that because it's so absurd.
Yeah.
Come
and See is not absurd.
Come and See is like deadly serious, and it's not fucking around.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I have to keep going to these parent-teacher meetings. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh wait,
no, they're important.
Did we say the trigger word again?
No, well, when you said "fuck a baby," I'm like, oh, I have to talk about
last time when you left before, I said, "Oh, we said her trigger word, so she's leaving. She's been offended and she's leaving." Blah blah blah. But I was just kidding.
No trigger words. I don't even get offended. Well, that's not true. I do get offended. But anyway, I love you guys. If you're still doing this in 40 minutes, I'll be back.
I think we're gonna land. I think we're actually gonna land the airplane. I wanted to try and see if we can go for a full 2 solid hours, and we've kind of accomplished that.
Awesome.
So we'll
better that I was half an hour late.
Bye. What I wanted to say was, all right. So I definitely need. I think I'm gonna do. Okay. Question, guys. Do I do it was available? You know, we all are fans of that 50% off Criterion sale that happens. It's like a thing amongst us people. Like every time that Steve's
Put that shit in my hand. Yeah.
Jeff,
Jeff, you went out. You hit your mic.
You're too excited and cut your audio.
$15, little.
We can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did or did not say. All I know is, should I blind? Do I blind buy? Come and See?
No.
Okay. Yes.
We should do
Fuck
it.
Listen, all right. I have some friends who run a film series here in Orlando, and they did Come and See recently, and it gave me the opportunity to say this. Like, was it Truffaut who said, you can't make an anti-war movie just because like the artifice of filmmaking makes everything kind of look cool, right?
Uh-huh.
And Come and See makes me think Truffaut never saw that fucking movie because it is like the closest thing to it is very much an anti-war movie, and like it is harrowing.
Jesus Christ, what is this? All right, let me ask you a question because I'm trying to gauge this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it spoiled. I'm just trying to gauge. All right, so for me, my word, did you say kids?
Kids.
Like, well, kids is like fucked up, but I can't.
No. I mean, there's a kid. Yeah, I know that's a fucked up movie. But no, I mean, Come and See follows a kid.
Oh. So it's like The Painted Bird in that kind of way, a little bit.
I haven't seen The Painted Bird, the movie, but I dare say Come and See is more joyless.
Yeah. All right. What about Threads? Threads for me, Threads gutted me. Threads absolutely and utterly like it's absolutely when I think of like when people ask me what is the most effed up film that you've ever seen, I generally like I don't automatically go to a Serbian film, although I do find it incredibly disturbing. Mm-hmm. I go to something like Threads because to me, or when people ask me what's the most terrifying film you've seen, you know, I tend to think like the nuclear destruction stuff terrifies me because it's so goddamn real. And I can so project myself in that scenario,
it's
you know.
Science, come on, who trusts science?
Yeah,
really.
But no, comparing Threads to Come and See is Threads. I don't know if you maybe you guys don't think Threads is effed up the way I think it's effed up.
I didn't see Threads.
Oh my God, go see it.
It's on I haven't seen Threads. I've seen the day after.
Shudder, right?
That's basically
no
counterpart for Threads.
It's the American counterpart, Nathan, but. I've seen both, and I would say that The Day After feels like an after-school special made for TV in the 80s. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, and Threads feels like a brutal, raw docudrama. I don't feel like I'm watching fiction. It feels 100% real to me. There's nothing fake to me about Threads. It was written based on an actual report from the government, the English government. Did like a whole study about what would happen, and then they wrote the script based on that study. So it's been praised for its realism, and the way that movie ends is so like soul draining and daunting. It makes me shudder, no pun intended, to think about it.
So speaking of which, I just pulled up a Just Watch and looked at Threads, and you know, Brian, you're dead right. It's on Shudder, but underneath at the bottom of the page it says people who liked Threads also liked The Road. Come and See.
There we go.
The only way I can describe watching Come and See is if there is such a thing as a soul, it is depleted by the time.
Oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah, you can
21
if
grams.
you pay attention, you can see it kind of drifting out of you.
It's
And-
just it's utterly draining.
Yeah.
Am I
Like-
21 grams lighter after watching it? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah,
I think you might be 21. I think you might be. I don't know. I felt like heavier after it was over.
Yeah.
I felt like it was harder to lift
Oh,
myself
geez.
from my seat. You know.
Oh,
yeah, I
geez.
think I just literally rolled over and like took a nap.
Right.
I was just like,
you
You
can't
went into a fugue state?
Cat or something after.
yeah,
get beyond tears. It's just
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like
humans are
Well, I
basically.
just gotta watch it now.
Yeah.
By the way, we
It's
were
like-
talking.
instant
go ahead.
depression.
Yeah.
It's like, if you do not have depression and you're like, I wonder what depression feels like.
take a watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're depressed,
I gotta do it.
Like,
I-
man, it's no sweat. You know, you can handle it.
Let me ask you guys this: when you were younger and you'd watch anything out there, were you the type of guys that are just like, I'll watch anything, like, I'm gonna watch the guinea pig, I'll see anything out there, just because like you wanted to see everything there was to see? Does come and see sort of elicit that response?
Honestly, if I had seen Come and See when I was 18, I probably would have honestly, 18-year-old Steven kind of sucked, by the way. But like if I had seen Come and See at 18, I would have missed it. I would have not felt what I felt when I saw it later in life.
Interesting.
18-year-old was a fucking idiot. So.
Yeah, it's not like I haven't seen Serbian film, but it's not superficial. It's not up on top. It's a deep kind of soul pain, you know. It's not like people are getting their faces scraped off or faces blown off in mines or something like that. It's like,
Jeff, it's a very depressing piece of art. Go watch it.
I'm going to go see it no matter what. But when we were talking about the Serbian film, have you guys ever seen the meme of Elon Musk sitting at a desk watching a Serbian film, and it's like a one panel meme, and the boss is like, "You're fired," and Elon Musk is like, "What?"
you're talking about like pre-hair plug Elon Musk, right?
Wait, hold
Like,
on. I gotta find it, dude. Elon Musk meme, Serbian film. It's like I literally was belly laughing when I was. I don't know what about it was so funny. It was just like, there it is. Hold on. Wait, ready? Hold on. I'm gonna share this with you. This is so fun. I don't know. Maybe I just think this is funny and it's not funny, but it's funny to me. So I'll share it. It's like, it's the funny thing about memes is you can't really describe a meme. Like, you just have to show someone a meme.
Trying to tell somebody a meme is just the fucking best. Like, it's so fun.
Wait, can you see this? Is it too small?
Yeah, no.
It's like the third clone of Michael Keaton.
He's like, boss, you're fired. Me, pause Serbian film. Why? Like, you're at work, just
But it's
nonchalant.
art. That's what he says in the movie, The Villain.
What does he say?
But it's art.
Oh my god!
I
But
have heard that if you are like well versed in Serbian politics, that the movie has a lot of like political relevance and metaphor or whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be very deep. Like,
I've
no,
also heard
no
that's
joke.
a load of shit, but I don't know anything about
I
Serbian
mean, basically,
politics.
you can pick up on the fact that Eastern European society life is pretty meaningless.
Yeah.
And people are treated worse, not just as bad as here, just discarded. So the
That's
guy,
the
a
message.
porn star, and he used to be a porn star, and he's looking back on his glory days or whatever, and he gets roped into this thing where he thinks he's going to go perform at this guy's house, this rich, weird, eccentric artist, and he's just basically using him as part of performance art to murder and do all kinds of atrocious things, and film them on camera. Like, it's just, I think it's absurdist cinema with just, it's just really, really violent and over the top. And I think it gets kind of a bad rap. I'm not saying it's a great film or not. It's up to you, but it's not as, people are saying it's like a depraved film or so. It's really not that depraved. I mean, it's just got a lot of over the top gore.
It's super extreme. And you want to know something? I saw it in 2010, and I have not seen it since. And since then, I have had children. So again, I can't imagine I just can't imagine watching this movie. I don't know what it is, because I've talked about this before. For me, I can watch anything that's horror, most, except I'm not really into the guinea pig stuff because there's no plot, but like I can watch anything pretty much. The stuff that really gets under my skin is when kids get hurt or when something happens to children.
Yeah.
That's when it really, that's what really cuts into my soul, my being. Great example, Megan is Missing, which everybody laughs at and thinks is like kind of stupid. I think it's like this incredibly serious, fucked up film. And it has these two scenes in it, and I'm not going to say what they are. If you haven't seen it, go search this movie out. If you haven't seen it, you should at least see it once. This filmmaker manages to sear, like literally with like a hot iron, branded these images into my mind. I never need to watch this film again. I was terrified by it, and it's 100% real. It's not that it's a true story, but that stuff is based on real cases and real testimony that happened. Those experiences happened to real people at one point in time. And that's the type of stuff that gets under my skin. So when you call the Serbian film an absurdist film, it really makes me kind of like wonder in the back of my mind, could I watch it today and see it from that angle? Or would I be blinded by the things that make me vulnerable when I watch? And that's what I don't know. I don't know how it would work for me, truthfully.
I don't know. I just think there's a lot more films in the Serbian film that disturbed me or were viscerally, draining. Like I thought Martyrs was way more disturbing.
Really?
Than a Serbian film. I mean, Salo.
Yeah.
See, that Salo for me, that was like comedy. That was like ridiculous. That was so over the top. It was ridiculous. Like the duty souffle, he's eating duty. Like duty souffles. I mean, it's just like it's crazy, man. It's just crazy, like it's just so like there's like there's no meaning in the film Salo, really.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I see something about fascism in there, but
yeah, sure, okay, yeah. It's just a lot of sodomy and shit eating and like just crazy murder and
I don't know. I think that Salo manages to convey a level of dehumanization that I just haven't ever seen in a movie like other movies generally, right? Especially on the scale of this one. And that's the thing that bugs me is that like these people are just sort of just stripped of their will, their self, And I mean, yeah, poop eating is gross, but it's I think what's more is that like I don't know. I watched it semi recently with Jen and inflicted it on her, and I had only remembered like one scene of poop eating, and when we watched it, I was like, "Oh wait, no, it just keeps going," and like there's so much. It's just like a cornerstone.
It's gratuitous. It's gratuitous too, which is why that's where I come in and I go, what like where, and that's the thing. That's the interesting part too about art. And about like again, like what Nate's talking about, I kind of actually appreciate what he's saying about viewing it through an absurdist prism. But here's my question: here's my question to you guys: when does absurdism still retain its absurdness if it becomes gratuitous, or can you find absurdism through the gratuity of something that's happening?
I think that's just in the eye of the beholder, to be honest with you. Some people can take a lot more than others. So,
right.
I like really dark, weird stuff. I really don't care for a lot of just straight up torture stuff, unless it's got some sort of humor or weird bent to it. That's just not my thing. Even if it's good, like I know good is subjective, but
right.
But I like Salo. I think there's definitely a lot of commentary in that film. A lot of people have been making parallels to that, and the Trump administration that had just come through. It's pretty easy to make those parallels with that film. But
Salo was
totalitarian fascist regime. I mean, that's pretty much why he made that movie. I mean, he was basically killed for making those kind of movies. So it's
who made that movie again?
Yeah, Paolo Pasolini.
Oh, that was a Pasolini film.
Mm-hmm.
Salo was at least, better produced than the Trump administration, though.
Yeah.
In general, I mean,
A little bit.
I understood Salo.
It had a more palatable suspension of disbelief.
Oh, you know what's a great movie if you haven't seen it is The Death of Stalin.
Yes, that's so good.
I haven't seen it yet.
I
kept missing it and kept missing it.
Oh my god, dude, that was so funny and fun.
It's been on my list of things I absolutely have to see. And
guys, for those of you who don't know,
do that.
justwatch.com. I turned Brian onto this site.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great website. It's a search engine because, and again, I always like to predicate or at least, connotate the word streaming with legal streaming. It's a place where you can search for legally streaming, where things are legally streaming. So on Hulu, Netflix, yada, 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 you can find and watch movies that way. And it's a really helpful tool. And I'm sure I know it was on Showtime.
It's on Netflix right now.
Oh,
Nice.
dude,
that movie is a masterpiece.
Talk about
that's going right at the top of my. I've got. I'll be. I've kind of already queued up a screening of Psycho Gorman tomorrow, but
I can't wait.
I'm counting down. I am stoked. But immediately after that, I will queue up Death of Stalin on my list because that's been something I've been wanting to see.
And tomorrow, watch Psycho Gorman.
And Ian Nucci directed that, and he also did In the Loop.
In the Loop,
which is so good.
I watched In the Loop over and over again. I never watched in the thick of it, but it doesn't matter. In the Loop is just it stands so great on its own. It's
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I recently plowed through the whole series of Veep, and also Avenue 5, which is really funny. And
what is Avenue 5 about?
It's about a space cruise ship that goes off course and ends up
on
out
HBO.
in space much longer, huh? Yeah, HBO.
Yeah. I saw Raised by Wolves or Raised with Wolves, the Ridley Scott sci-fi thing.
Oh,
is that good?
Really good. Really fun. Really enjoyed that. But what I was going to say is the two things that I saw most recently is I figured let's wind this down. Let's cap this off because honestly, this could go. I could see this going on and on and on.
All night long.
Guys, first of all, I want to thank all of you because this was so much friggin' fun. And I don't care what the metrics are. I think we're definitely going to be doing this again because it's just too much friggin' fun. Let's end the show with two movies that you saw very recently as this week or something that you want to recommend, and we'll just go through real quick. I'm going to start us off. No, you can't cheat. No.
Letterbox? Like I can't.
No, you can. You can cheat. It's okay. Okay, I'm going to start with. I saw Spontaneous, which is a film about spontaneous combustion.
Oh, how was that?
It was. I really, really, really liked it a lot. I am very conflicted about the third act. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
But I thought the one thing I will say, and I don't think this is a spoiler in any which way, which is why I feel okay saying it. I think it is I haven't seen anybody say this yet, so I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but I think it's an incredible meditation on how the United States treats school shootings. And that's what I took out of this movie about.
You think that they have no impetus, that they just pop up? I haven't seen it.
All I would say is
sorry.
People. Well, no, I mean everybody knows.
Take, actually.
The plot is literally that kids just start exploding, and there's no rhyme or reason. They don't explain. It's not explained why. And I won't say anything more than that. And what I was pulling out of it simply was, just that it's a meditation on how we treat school shootings, which is literally what they, in the movie, it's just like,
what you do? How could you possibly stop?
Can't stop it. Nothing we can do to stop it. So I thought it was a very interesting. And then, like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about the ending. I'd love to hear your thoughts after you've seen the film. That's all I want to say. And the other thing I watched that's on Hulu, the Spontaneous was on Epix. If you can get Epix, it's on Epix. And the other thing I watched, what I do is my parents have cable, and so what I did was I called up the cable company And I said, hi. I pretended to be my dad, and I got the password for the apps because my dad doesn't watch apps. He just watches cable. He doesn't he's paying for it. He's not watching it. So we don't have cable. So I go, yeah, hi, I'm Greg Frummis. I need the password to my account, blah, blah, blah. So now I have access to all these, whatever the app is. And then my parents eventually, they do kind of like, can you put that on my iPad? You know, that kind of thing. My old Jewish mother, she wants it on her iPad. So that's on Epix. And the other one I watched on Hulu, which I gave 4.5 stars out of 5. It's, you know, those movies that you watch and we all make films, we all write and whatever, you know, we all do stuff. How is there anything more painful / joyous / jubilant / painful than seeing your idea that you did or a version of your idea that you had been writing done so much better than you were attempting to do it, or that you would ever attempt to do it?
And I wouldn't know, Jeff, because that's never happened to me yet.
Yeah, all right. Well, that kind of happened to me. It's this movie on Hulu called The Secrets Between Us or something. It's a thriller. Hold on. Now I got to look up the title because I just suck with titles tonight. I can't name podcasts. I can't name movies. I'm going to my thing. It's Secrets Between Us or something. And the basic setup is this. It takes place in the 60s, The Secrets That We Keep, or The Secrets We Keep. That's what it's called, okay? The Secrets We Keep. That is a brand new thriller on Hulu, and I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was phenomenal all the way through. Basic setup without any spoilers. Woman thinks that she's found the soldier from World War II that massacred her family, and that's it. That's in the actual description of the movie, so I'm not telling you anything you can find out.
Sounds lighthearted and fun.
But I gotta tell you, well, no, but it's like, you know, it's an exploration on two things that I thought it was an exploration on PTSD, but PTSD through the Me Too movement, told from the perspective of a Nazi in hiding, or who may or may not be a Nazi in hiding, and like the act accusing someone of something, and, you know, belief and yada yada yada. And so that was that I thought that was so well done, and I died a little inside because I literally was like writing something super similar, and I was like, this is just so much better than I will ever make it. Fuck my life. Yeah, my film.
Oh man, all right.
But it's different. It's very different. But the hook is the same, or the hook. I thought the hook was the same. But listen, I don't think. Listen, good ideas are run parallel. People think of good ideas all the time. Hi, hello. So, all right, that's enough out of me. I'm going to shut up. We got to get around to you guys. 2 things you saw that you want to recommend.
Who's up?
So 2 things I saw that were not 1996 movies. Or the only 2 things I watched recently is I watched Freaky, which I thought was actually pretty good. I was surprised by how good it was. I was expecting it to be. I wasn't a big fan of the Happy Death Day movies. They were fine, but I thought this was better. This was a step up.
It's your birthday.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn and I can't remember the name of the young lady, but they basically swap bodies. He's a serial killer, slasher guy, movie slasher, and she's a high school, you know, kind of like the wallflower high school girl, and they switch bodies when he tries to kill her. And that the performances are very funny. Vince Vaughn trying to play like a high school girl is actually pretty brilliant. And Catherine Newton is her name, and she plays like a stalking serial killer really well too. And it's just a really funny Freaky Friday riff. I enjoyed it. It's very fun. What's the other one? Oh, Promising Young Woman. I thought that was really good. Excellent. Good twist on the rape revenge film, which I thought was very well done and refreshing. And Carey Mulligan is fantastic. And just like
say the title one more time.
Promising Young Woman.
Oh man, that's all everybody's talking about. That's the rage right now.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna check that out.
Nothing more to say. I mean, you can find reviews that have more intelligent things to say than I do.
Okay. Yeah, those are. I can't wait to see both of those actually. So that's good. Okay, who's next?
I can go. I'd say, let's see, what other reason say? I'd recommend anything for Jackson, which is, I think it's on Shudder now.
Shudder original.
And it's delightful. I really enjoyed it. It has a really very dry sense of humor, and it's about Satanist grandparents kidnap a pregnant woman to try to bring their to do a ritual to bring their dead grandson back to life.
Nice.
Fun fact: if there's a ritual involved, it's not going to go well. No, it's surprisingly affecting in terms of like the performances, in terms of kind of how human they make everybody. It's also in part very, very funny and has some just stuff that made my skin crawl. So like that's a lot for like 90 minutes. So I'd recommend that. And then I rewatched one of the, I guess, delights that I found during pandemic lockdown, which is The Seventh Curse, which is a 1980s Hong Kong supernatural martial arts film that is just bananas. It's crazy. Like it's a movie that fits more into like 15-minute blocks than most films fit into their whole movie. Like it's just bonkers, and it's a delight. So yeah, I mean, if you like things like Chinese Ghost Story or like just that particular era of how about we make something that's crazy? All right. Highly recommend. That one's on, I think, Amazon Prime right now. At least that's how I saw it. So I think I can't imagine it's disappeared in a few days. But no, delightful. Don't watch a trailer. I mean, you could read a synopsis. It won't do you any goddamn good. But just go and see it. It's just fun. Like it is probably one of the most enjoyable 90 minutes of time that I spent over the last like few months, when like finding 90 minutes of joy were maybe not the easiest to come across. Like I stumbled upon this movie and I'm just like, shit. All right. They get it.
How does it compare to Dead Heat? Up, down.
Can I just interject one quick thing? I saw Dead Heat for the first time last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't remember, for one of my 31 days of Halloween excursions. And my immediate reaction after watching it was like, why on God's green earth did it take me this many years to see Dead Heat? And I'll tell you why. The poster art. Because all I ever saw when I worked in those stores was just the hand with the badge, Dead Heat, and you see Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo, who are such great chemistry. They're on the cover, and it looks like a buddy cop Lethal Weapon action film.
That's why I rented it. For that cover.
So funny, man. That's so funny. That's exactly why I didn't rent it. And it turns out to be this ultra violent, weird. Like it's like John Carpenter's. You know what it's like? It's kind of like got some. It kind of has the energy of oh God, what's the movie? China.
Big Trouble.
Oh, Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. It has that energy a little bit too, and Vincent Price is in it, and like it is gory as fuck and like disturbing and just absolutely a gem. So it just goes to show. Yeah. Just had to say that. Sorry.
Joe Piscopo. He has one of my favorite lines in any movie, in Johnny Dangerously. And when they go and park, and he's like, "You can't park there. That's the handicap spot." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm mentally ill," or whatever. I'm insane. And he puts a little sign on that goes like this.
That movie is also a treasure, and I haven't watched it in forever, and I really need to revisit that. Fargan badly.
Yeah. Fargan Bastich.
Fargan Bastiches. Quick, Johnny, the wallpaper. Okay, Steven, you're up.
So, I guess I'm not going to use one of my slots to mention The Greasy Strangler, which I watched this week. I'm not using one of my two slots to mention this movie that everybody should watch. I'm not using All right, I get 2 other movies, so I'm not using it for this one.
I'm calling shenanigans right now. Get to your 2 movies.
All right, so one thing I watched recently that I really liked, it's a weird one. It's playing right now on the Film Maudit Film Festival, which is free online through this Sunday. I watched a feature there called Anonymous Animals, which is I think it's a French movie, but it doesn't matter because there's no dialogue. It's about, and I'm gonna listen, just it's very kind of atmospheric. It's got a lot of feel to it. Like I said, it's a feature with no dialogue, so don't put too much weight in this plot summary because it's missing the point. The plot summary I'm about to give you is that like humans and animals are kind of sort of swapped, right? Where like the animals round the humans up in like slaughterhouses and things and treat them like cattle and use them in like human dogfighting. But it's not as goofy as that sounds, I promise. It's real straight faced, real kind of grim. And you know, I love bleak movies that make you feel like shit when they're all over. So that's playing at Film Maudit. The other one, which I'm going to throw out there, is a movie that I had never seen before. I want to point this out. It's a big deal. You guys are all going to laugh at me because you know it's going to be good. It's a movie I'd never seen before. I never saw Chud, and I watched it, and honestly, I expected Chud was going to be one of these goofy trauma-style, zany monster flicks, and I was shocked to find that it's like a straight-up crime thriller. Like it's a real like taut with social commentary. It's like a plotted out intrigue thing with social commentary and everything, and also there's monsters at the end. Yeah. So like that was a real surprise to me. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I like that a lot.
Great. So great.
You don't have to watch Chud 2. You're good where you're at.
Yeah.
No.
You can stop. It's fine.
No. You guys are both wrong. The reason why you have to watch Chud 2 is because it stars the phenomenal Garrett Graham, aka Beef, from Phantom of the Paradise. And for that reason alone, if you like Garrett Graham, I'll watch Garrett Graham in anything. I'll watch him on a candy bar wrapper. If he was just like this.
Chud 2 is the test of that, and you pass the test of that statement. I mean, that is proof you'll watch him in anything. He is the highlight of that movie, though. Like he's not like no questions asked.
You're all unanimous that I must watch Chud 2 instant. Like it's the next thing on my list, right?
No.
Do not use your limited time on Earth to do that.
That should be that line should be used for a lot of things. Do not use your limited time on Earth.
I'll be honest. I've watched way too many movies that I could categorize in. Oh, I've wasted my life.
I would say that
my Annihilation 3 times. So I don't know what the fuck that says.
I honestly, I would say
each time going in, I knew it was going to be terrible.
You know what's funny though? Like I truly think this is one of the greatest regrets in my life. I think it's true though. Life is too short and there's too many movies, and I have spent way too much time like just sitting through a movie just so I could say that I've watched it, even if I wasn't enjoying it. And like I wish I had that ability to hit the eject button, and I just don't. I have to like
watch something all the way through.
Yeah,
it kills me.
I've become choosier. I used to watch whatever.
The only one I've stopped so far and never went back to was Julian Donkey Boy.
So
haven't seen that one. Did you do 2, Stephen?
I did.
Okay.
I did 2 because I did not mention Greasy Strangler.
All right, Brian. Brian, you're up. You're up to bat, buddy.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I'll keep it brief because one of the films was already mentioned, but I saw Grizzly 2. I had to rent it. I had to see it. It's in that Cruel Jaws sort of where I mean, it's amazing to watch because as I was watching, I was like, this is being edited right now as I'm watching it. That's how bad the editing was. It's just, they cut to like nature shots. It cut to like a bear almost like smiling, and then someone gets attacked, but it's poorly cut together. Louise Fletcher's in it. Like they highlight like Charlie Sheen, Laura Dern, and George Clooney. They're like literally the Scream opening. Spoilers.
Sounds about right.
Don't worry about that. Louise Fletcher's in it. Deborah Foreman. Like all these familiar like faces from the genre were popping up. I was like, who cares about the top three? I want to see more of these people. Yeah, bad effects, bad, everything. It was just pretty bad. It's just Louise Fletcher's like the mayor wants to put on a rock concert, and there's a grizzly killing people off, in poorly edited shots. And she wants to keep it going, and they have all these like live bands playing, and I'm pretty sure most of it's stolen shots. Like there was a concert already happening. It's just you have to see it. You have to check it out. And the other film I saw was same as Nathan, Promising Young Woman, which I've been waiting for a while. I wanted to check it out, and I like most of it. I mean, as I was watching it, I was prepared to clear a space on my shelf for it. I liked it, and I liked about 95% of it, which is a high percentage. But it's one of those films that I like it. I do appreciate it. I will have to see it again and listen to like commentary and interviews and stuff like that with the director and Carey Mulligan, just to really get into it. But I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely a film for the time. I think everyone should watch it. It's definitely a conversation piece. But
does it make the cut for your shelf?
I think so. Yeah, it's something I would want to watch again, and I was on board for it. Yeah, I was definitely on board for it. Yeah. I like it.
Right.
It's just one of those where it's like, okay, all right, it's doing that.
I'm excited, man. I have to catch this, man. When that's the thing that I think it's like the fever, right? Where like you see everybody in your community or you see it on Letterboxd. You see that same, 2 or 3 movies that are just buzzing right then and there. You're like, I gotta watch it. And then it's funny. Not for every single movie, but for like at least I find for the most of them, the moment I finish that film, good or bad, like the luster, the shiny quality kind of wears off just a smidge. Because I'm like, seen it, on to the next thing, like
you
a little
do
bit.
what I do, where you wait 30 years and then watch Chud.
Finally. Yeah.
That was like a cable staple for me in the 80s. I mean, are you just not watching Chud?
I'm sorry, I'm a late bloomer.
Hey, you want to know what I just watched for the first time last year? The Exorcist in its entirety, all the way through. I had never seen it, and it was pretty good. I liked it.
Oh, there's something to it, huh?
That was all right.
This Friedkin character could be going places.
I got to tell you, I asked a lot of people because I was just like, so what's the big deal? What's the big deal? And you know what I found when I spoke to several different people about it, including my friend Richie, who's in a band called the Bloodsucking Zombies from Outer Space. They're like this horror punk band from Europe. And he grew up in super Catholic, I think it was. And so I think part of why The Exorcist has had the impact that it's had, particularly, is that people's personal beliefs or relationships with, religious faiths, have played into that gets plugged into this film, which for me, I'm like one level below heathen. So it's like, I don't know. It just didn't have that effect for me.
No, I gotta take on that though. I know it's 2.5 hours. We need to chill out. We're winding down.
Go ahead. Give us
the one thing that I loved, because I was a late bloomer to Exorcist. I didn't watch it last year, but I watched it in the last 10 years. And the most pleasant surprise to me, and huge spoiler for, I know the 4 of you have obviously seen this, but if anybody's watching this, cover your ears for a minute. Big spoiler. What really made me love it was that faith didn't win. Like, they couldn't exorcise that demon. They couldn't get rid of Pazuzu. What had to happen is the priest took it in himself and killed himself, right? Like that. I always assumed
that's the terrifying element. Like,
right.
that your faith can't help save you. Yeah.
And so I like that about it.
No, I thought that was great. And I do this every once in a while. I did it most recently with another film that I had watched for the first time last year, 2 years ago, I think it was. No, it was last year. I had never seen half of the Friday movies. And so someone recommended to me, watch Friday the 13th Part 6 with your TV.
I thought you meant the Friday comedy.
Yeah. No.
I was like, you can skip the second one and just go to the third.
Yeah.
Well, they said to desaturate your TV when you watch Friday the 13th Part 6. So when I got to Part 6, I was going in order. I got to Part 6, and holy crap, did that unlock a dimension? Well, I don't know because I hadn't seen it in color, but it was like yes, exactly right, Brian. It's a universal horror film if you watch it in black and white. It's lit that way, and so I want to watch. And there's some movies I've done that. I've watched a couple movies in black and white. 2 movies I really want to watch in desaturated black and white. I want to watch the first Halloween in like high contrast black and white, and more than anything, I want to see The Exorcist in black and white. And you're like, it's like, wait, why? What about all the green goo and yada yada yada? It's like, nah. I have a feeling that movie in black and white is going to be so. It's going to transport me to another world. I feel like.
Maybe
I don't know.
Watch the version you've never seen. I don't know if you saw the regular version or that one. The version you've
I'm
never
not sure.
Has a little bit more. That one actually scared me more than the original. I watched the original version like before the version you never seen came out in the theater. And my buddy Vinny and I and a bunch of other friends, we saw it in the theater. And that scared me a lot more I took home more of that than the original version that I had on tape. Because they add more subliminal stuff that wasn't there in the original version. So like, there were many moments where I was like, no, So that was affects me more.
I wish I saw it, man.
I'd like to see the opening.
Skip Exorcist 2, go right to 3 because that's like a direct.
I think that's a masterpiece.
What's that?
Scary.
Natasha Stone. It doesn't get any better. Scene. It's fucking.
Yes,
hilarious.
it's true. Nathan's right. Actually, that Scary Movie 2. For so many reasons why Scary Movie 2 is great, including David Cross. He's phenomenal in it. The Chris Elliott with the small hand. It's pretty.
He's my least favorite part of the movie. Like I'll
really?
watch the opening and I hated Scary Movie 2.
I think it's. I do think it's kind of classic. I do enjoy that film.
David
Guys,
blowing himself in a wheelchair. The best.
That's right. He's like, what? You don't think I could do it myself? Just ridiculous. Truly ridiculous.
Thank you, Jeff, for this.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys,
that's
what I was about to say is that to thank you guys. This was excellent. I honestly, it could keep going forever and ever. Let's put a pin in at 2.5 hours. So what we'll do in the future, and again, so just super quick, just so it's not a whole roundabout sort of thing. All these guys are content creators and they're all friggin' awesome and we all make cool shit and we're all friggin' great and yada, yada, yada. And we'll definitely be back. We're going to do this again. I got to figure out a couple of logistical things. So I don't know when the second episode will be, but it will be. All right. Let's go around real quick. Plug one thing. Go ahead. Go. Everybody.
Genre Blast Film Fest coming at you this Labor Day weekend. We're still here. We're alive and kicking, hoping that people will be able to gather this year. I think the odds are in our favor, but we'll see. Genre Blast all over social media. Check us out.
Sick and Wrong Film Festival. Year 6 is going to be, December. So just try to remember for the next 11 months.
I made a few short films that are online, some that aren't online yet. Just look up Shit, They're All Vampires. You'll enjoy it. And if you are a filmmaker, submit to both Genre Blast and Sick and Wrong. Like you'll be glad you did.
New York City Horror Film Festival. We're open. We're not the event's in December, but I haven't been able to think until after the 20th of January. So please feel free to submit. Now we can think. Now we can process stuff.
What did something happen on the 20th of January?
People are like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, let me wait until January 20th, 2020.
January 20th. Wait, you mean when the giant toilet flushed?
When the McRib came out?
Yeah, it was.
It's David Lynch's birthday. It's a significant date.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only know that because my calendar over here says it. Like that's the only reason why I pulled that day. I'm like, I know what day that, and it just has a picture of his face, and it's like David Lynch born this day. I'm like, oh hey.
Oh, David Lynch is president. That's like next level shit right there.
Oh my God. I could talk about that topic for 1,000 hours.
Like,
Could you imagine trying to envision
Nathan.
every aspect of society under the tutelage of David Lynch? Like everything. Like what would infrastructure be like? What would NASA be like? What would be for like? Oh my! All right.
Okay, we've opened Pandora's box. Here.
Stop. All right. No. We're ending the show. Ready? This is how we end the show on the Frumest channel. We say peace and